Chapter 724. The two halves of Zhang Hu's body were lying flat on the ground. They did not move, nor did they emit any aura. It was as if he was really dead. However, Wang Kai was speechless when he saw this. So you've learned how to play dead? Is this what a demon god should do? Wang Kai frowned and snorted disdainfully. However, the system did not give him a reward for killing Zhang Hu with a single slash. This proved that Zhang Hu was not dead at all. He was lying there motionless, pretending to be dead. Young Master Kai, are you all right? Are you hurt? Swoosh. Mu Sanyang took a few steps forward. She didn't even have time to wipe off the blood on her face. She came to Wang Kai's side and looked at his body worriedly. However, when she found that his upper body was unharmed and looked at his lower body, Mu Sanyang came out of her anxious state. Pervert. Smack. F***CK. Hiss. Mu Sanyang exclaimed and slapped Wang Kai below his abdomen. Such a direct and aggressive attack provoked Wang Kai so much that he roared. It doesn't seem to hurt. Wang Kai raised an eyebrow and looked down. He was fine. Only then did he remember that he had taken the eternal pill for 3 days. As long as it was against his will, no powerhouse would be able to hurt him. He was injured and even killed in the battle with Zhang Hu because he wanted to have a fair fight with him. Otherwise, with the power of the eternal pill for 3 days, how could Zhang Hu hurt him? Woman, why didn't you slap him? Why'd you have to slap him there? Can't you just slap his butt? No matter what, Ben Shao's butt is very fair, okay? If it's damaged, do you know that the world will lose hundreds of millions of descendants? Wang Kai frowned and snorted. It was fortunate that he had taken the 3 days everlasting pill. Otherwise, he would have definitely bent from that slap. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Wasn't it just a slap? How could it reduce the number of descendants by hundreds of millions? Mu Sanyang's face reddened as she bit her lip. She glared at Wang Kai with her watery eyes and turned her back on him. Hurry up and put on your clothes. That place is too horrible to look at. Mu Sanyang's voice was as soft as a mosquito. That place was horrible to look at? Wang Kai's face immediately darkened. He glared at Mu Sanyang and thought to himself, Bitch, sooner or later, I'll make sure that part of your body becomes unbearable. Ha ha ha. Thank you, young master. Whoosh. Suddenly, an ear-piercing female voice rang in his ears. Wang Kai frowned and couldn't help but pick his ears. What are you thanking me for? Ben Shao is just here to play. Well, if you're willing to give yourself to him, Ben Shao can reluctantly take you. But marriage and children are not my cup of tea. You're not my cup of tea. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and looked at Yun Shi in his arms with a teasing expression. At this moment, Yun Shi's eyes were open. Her originally dark pupils had also returned to their original appearance. It could be said that Yun Shi had now broken away from the demonic state. Although she looked like a normal person, she still gave Wang Kai a strange feeling. I was just playing around, and I was able to destroy the vessel of the Supreme Master of the Devil Clan. Fortunately, this vessel of mine is your friend. Otherwise, wouldn't I have to live the life of a lonely ghost when I just started cultivating? Yun Shi pinched her jade fingers and gently touched her red lips. The vessel of the supreme demon? Zhang Hu is just a mere vessel? This vessel of mine? A wandering ghost? Could it be that? Yun Shi's body had also become a vessel? Whoosh! Wang Kai was stunned by her words. He immediately turned his hand and slapped the space between Saintess Yun Shi's eyebrows. He had thought that Yun Shi had regained her consciousness and was no longer controlled by the demonic and demonic arts. But now, it seemed that this was not the case. Saintess Yun Shi's body was now his, but her soul was definitely not his. Young master, you are so cruel. Saintess Yun Shi's eyes were extremely calm. She smiled and raised her hand and pointed at Wang Kai's palm. Bang! Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Suddenly, with a single finger, Wang Kai was directly shaken back a few steps. Saintess Yun Shi's body lay flat in the void. Then, she turned her body sideways and lay on her back. She stared at Wang Kai with a strange look in her beautiful eyes. It seems that you're not a simple heavenly path realm cultivator. You can withstand my finger and come out unscathed. Tell me, who are you? Saintess Yunshi asked indifferently. Young Master Kai, she is... Seeing this, Mu Sanyang was shocked. Her face was pale as she came to Wang Kai's side. She is not Yunshi. It must be the inheritance of the demonic arts that Zhang Hu gave to Yunshi that caused the supreme demon to cover her body, suppress her soul, and take control of her body. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a serious expression. He had thought that even if the supreme demon appeared, he would not be afraid of him. But now, the supreme demon of the demonic arts had appeared, and he was powerless to resist. If not for the power of the 3 days pill, even if it did not take his life, that finger would have severely injured him to the point that he would not be able to fight anymore. As the name suggested, the 3 days pill would not have any power if Wang Kai was willing to fight a fair battle with his opponent. If he was not willing to fight, no matter how strong the opponent was, he would not be able to kill Wang Kai. He could stay alive for 3 days. With such a guarantee, Wang Kai chose to come to Fengyang village to fight. Saintess Yunshi alone was of no value to Wang Kai to risk his life for her. Wang Kai thought that saving Saintess Yunshi was just to show off and have fun. He also thought that he could use the opportunity to pick up girls. But now it was not that simple. Young Master is right. This little girl was killed by Zhang Hu, the container of the demonic sovereign. Zhang Hu then forcefully merged my corpse into her body. Although she received my inheritance, her mind was too weak. She was suppressed by the demonic arts and the demonic arts, and she lost her mind. She became a slave who only sees the container of the demonic sovereign. At this point, Yunshi's eyes turned, and she looked at Wang Kai sorrowfully. She laughed softly and said, "Don't you think this is very unfair? I am a supreme demon of the demonic arts, the inheritor, but I have to serve the container of the supreme demon. Ha! It is indeed very unfair. But how do you plan to thank Ben Shao? If Ben Shao had not destroyed the container of the supreme demon and sealed Yunshi, would you have been able to come out?" Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. Whoosh! Hearing this, Yunshi's eyes narrowed, and a cold light flashed in them. Chapter 725. Of course I have to thank you properly. So, today I will spare your life. Crack! As soon as Yunshi finished speaking, the void in front of her tore apart. Ghost Lord, do you really want to leave just like that? Buzz. Suddenly, as a suppressed, angry voice sounded, the two halves of Zhang Hu's body on the ground instantly merged back into one. He raised his head and stared coldly at Yunshi, who was walking into the void. Demon Lord, you and I both know that although I have a physical body now, I have not completely merged with it. As for you, the vessel has been destroyed. It will take some time for you to recover completely. If we fight now, others will take advantage of us. Yunshi looked back and smiled faintly, then disappeared into the void. Hearing this, Zhang Hu raised his head and glanced coldly at Wang Kai. Without saying a word, he tore apart the void and disappeared as well. Young Master Kai, that Mu Sanyang frowned. She found it strange that Wang Kai did not stop them all. Was it not possible for Wang Kai, who was in the Heavenly Path realm, to stop them? Moreover, even if it was the Ghost Lord and the Demon Lord, the Ghost Lord's attack was not a threat to Wang Kai at all. If that was the case, why did he leave them alone? Little did she know that Wang Kai was also feeling very helpless now. The Ghost Lord and the Demon Lord's cultivation is definitely above the Heavenly Path. Moreover, the power they contain is far beyond the scope of the Heavenly Path. What kind of power is that? Why can't I feel it? But it is still there. Wang Kai frowned and thought to himself. But no matter how he thought about it, he still could not figure it out. The finger just now did not contain the Heavenly Path realm's power. It did not seem to have any power at all, but it could not be blocked. Moreover, the finger that did not contain any power did indeed have a strange power. Young Master Kai, what's wrong with you? Mu Sanyang saw that Wang Kai was frowning in silence. She was worried that he might have fallen into the trap of the Ghost Lord and the Demon Lord. It's fine. Ben Shao is just wondering what level they are at and what kind of power they are using. Wang Kai waved his hand and smiled casually. Whoosh! Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes blinked as she stared at Wang Kai in shock. Young Lord Kai, you're not bragging. The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he saw this. He rubbed his nose and smiled casually. Sometimes, there's no need to brag. No matter what level they are at or what special powers they have, they're no match for Ben Shao. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Mu Sanyang secretly breathed a sigh of relief. She thought that since Wang Kai could still brag, it meant that he was fine. However, the current Wang Kai's heart was extremely solemn. If he did not understand that strange power, his heart would feel stuffy and flustered. After all, now that he had reached the Heavenly Path realm, he thought that he could dominate Tianzhou. But later, he learned that the peak of Tianzhou was not the Heavenly Path. Now, the Ghost Lord and the Demon Lord suddenly appeared. Damn, it looks like I really have to keep a low profile in the future. If I don't fall down for 3 days, I can only stay alive for 3 days. If I had known earlier, I would have stayed alive. Wang Kai secretly sighed regretfully. Looking at Wang Kai and the others' uncertain expressions, Mu Sanyang was a little scared for a moment. One moment he was normal, the next he was abnormal. What happened? Young Lord Kai. Now that I've found her, I'm going to take a trip to the Transcending Heaven Church to send Xia Xinyan back. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said with a smile. Mu Sanyang was speechless. At first, she was worried that Wang Kai was really bewitched. But now, it seemed that it was unnecessary. Windflower City. When Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang returned hand in hand, the scene they saw made their hearts turn upside down. The city, which should have been prosperous, was now in ruins. Everywhere was in ruins, and under the ruins, corpses could be seen clearly. All of them were bleeding from their 7 orifices. Other than that, there were no other wounds. Wan, no! Swoosh! In an instant, Mu Sanyang rushed to the romantic floor as if she had gone crazy. However, the 100-story building had already been reduced to rubble. It was piled up there in a mess. Among them, there were corpses under the ruins. It was a horrible sight. What happened? Damn it! Who is it? Who is it? Seeing this, Mu Sanyang went completely crazy. Her face was pale, and her hair flew in the wind. She channeled the power of heaven and bombarded the ruins indiscriminately. Could it be someone from the territorial capital city? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and looked at the crazy Mu Sanyang. He did not know how to comfort her. It was normal for anyone to go crazy when they encountered something like this. Impossible, unless the territorial capital came personally. But he could not have reached Windflower City so quickly. It must be someone else. Damn it. Mu Sanyang, will skin you alive and pull out your tendons. Mu Sanyang bit her red lips so hard that drops of blood dripped down. Master, Old Pig has finally found you. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out. Before Wang Kai could respond, Mu Sanyang had already launched a frenzied attack through the air. Damn it. Die. Can you look at the picture and talk? Old Pig has just arrived. Zhu Beiji's eyes widened when he saw this. He was about to raise his 9-toothed rake to meet the attack, but was stopped by Wang Kai. That's enough, Juan. He is my disciple. He would not do something so inhumane. Wang Kai frowned and pressed down on Mu Sanyang's shoulder. However, when he said this, Wang Kai felt a little guilty. His aura should have been hidden by the system. In that case, no matter how strong Zhu Beiji was, he could not have found him. However, he did not dare to say this in front of Mu Sanyang. If it had nothing to do with Zhu Beiji, wouldn't it make things worse? Master, I have been looking for you for a long time. I don't know where these bastards came from. They took the mountain gate of the sky-reaching church with them. In order to save your substitute, I chased them all the way here. Unfortunately, I could not catch up with them. Zhu Beiji said regretfully. The sky-reaching church and its mountain gate flew away. Wang Kai was stunned when he heard this. The palace could fly, the magic treasures could fly, And this was the first time he heard that even the mountain gate could fly. With your cultivation, you can't catch up with them? You can't stop them? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked jokingly. Zhu Beiji harumphed twice when he heard this. He swung the nine-toothed rake over his shoulder and said unwillingly, Master, that substitute of yours didn't let Old Pig stop him, nor did he let Old Pig chase after him. He told Old Pig to follow behind him so that he could inform you. But how could Old Pig have known that the mountain gate would fly so quickly? Chapter 726. In the end, wasn't it because he couldn't catch up with Zhu Beiji that he lost him? However, it wasn't a single expert that could make Zhu Beiji unable to catch up with him. Instead, it was the entire mountain range where the sect was located. To be able to lose track of such a colossus, just how fast was its speed? I once heard that the sect of the Sky Reaching School is a supreme treasure that transcends the boundary of Tianzhou. It came from the outer region. Even the top experts can't catch up with it. Mu Sanyang said in a deep voice. Came from the outer region. Wang Kai was slightly stunned when he heard that. He didn't expect the Sky Reaching School to have such a treasure. The so-called outer region referred to the outer region of Tianzhou, or could it be outside of Tianzhou? Beyond that would be the outer region of the starry sky. Wuning, what realm is your current cultivation equivalent to in Tianzhou? Wang Kai frowned and asked in surprise. The peak of the 9th grade heavenly path. No, it should be beyond the peak of the 9th grade heavenly path. That's not right either. Some experts at the peak of the 9th grade heavenly path should have the same combat strength as Zhu Beiji muttered and said in an uncertain tone. He had read many ancient books in the Sky Reaching School and understood the division of strength in this world. However, he was still a little confused about the power of heaven. They've surpassed the peak of the 9th grade of the heavenly Tao, but there are still experts at the peak of the 9th grade of the heavenly Tao whose battle prowess doesn't lose to yours. This also proves that those experts have all activated the power of the heavens. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and nodded in realization. It seemed that Zhu Beiji's combat strength was equivalent to the peak of the 9th grade heavenly path who had activated the power of heaven. As for the exact level of the power of heaven, it was unknown. Even if Zhu Beiji were to estimate, he wouldn't be able to figure it out. After all, there was no such thing as the power of heaven in his world. Moreover, Zhu Beiji's combat strength was similar to what Wang Kai had guessed. In his world, all the immortals were below the heavenly path. Although Buddhism wasn't the path of faith, there was still a higher level above the limit of Buddhism. As the saying goes, Buddhism is boundless. It wasn't that there weren't any immortals who had truly surpassed the heavenly Tao, but they weren't Zhu Beiji. The matter of the Windflower City, as well as the matter of the Sky-Reaching Cult's mountain gate flying away, passed through here. I'm afraid that there's a big connection between the two. Huan, or if you want to find your sister, then go with Ben Shao. With Ben Shao around, there's no road that can't be tread on in this world. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders. His expression was rather proud as he smiled and said, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Hearing this, Mu Sanyang knew that Wang Kai was boasting again. However, she was not in the mood to ridicule him. She could only nod and ask in a low voice, Where are we going? Mu Wanwan's body was not found in the ruins of the romantic floor, nor was there any trace of her aura. This proved that she wasn't dead. Even if she wasn't here. The Sky-Reaching Cult was originally located in the northern region, the realm of heaven-reaching, commonly known as the 2nd region. Now we are in the 6th region. The fastest way to get to the realm of heaven-reaching is from the pharmacist domain in the 5th region, which is near the 6th region. After passing through the western region, we will go straight up to the northern region. Wang Kai frowned and said after thinking for a while, In the Tianzhou continent, there were north, south, left, west, and east. The mountain gate of the Sky-Reaching Cult flew to the realm of heaven, reaching in the northern region was the most likely place. The 6th region was adjacent to the pharmacist domain in the western region. If they wanted to get to the northern region, They had to pass through the western region. If they went to the southern region and wanted to get to the northern region, they would have to travel through the entire Tianzhou. It would definitely waste a lot of time. Master, how are we going to get there? Do you know how to somersault? Zhu Beiji rubbed his hands and snorted with an expectant look. Somersault? Could one somersault 108,000 miles? It might work in Zhu Beiji's world, but might not be enough in Tianzhou. Even if they knew how to somersault, they wouldn't be able to reach the realm of heaven reaching. What's the point of somersaulting? Bin Xiao only needs one breath to reach the realm of heaven reaching. It's a pity that Bin Xiao can do it, but you can't. So, we can only find a carriage. Wang Kai shook his head and said with a look of disdain, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 5th stage of the heavenly path realm." Zhu Beiji looked at Wang Kai's disdainful look in disdain. If Wang Kai really had the ability, he could have taken 2 people there in an instant. He didn't expose him because he knew that he was bragging again. "I have a carriage here. It's barely an 8th-stage celestial martial divine weapon." Mu Sanyang, who had been silent all this time, suddenly spoke. "Buzz." Before Wang Kai could wonder what kind of carriage it was, she flipped her hand and threw a ray of light into the sky. In an instant, a huge golden warship appeared in front of Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji. "Damn, there is such a treasure in this world," Zhu Beiji couldn't help but exclaim. Wang Kai's eyes lit up when he saw it. The golden warship was as big as a palace, and there were cannons around it. There were many cannons on the warship. There were also hundreds of oars on both sides of the warship. However, the oars were moving air, not water. Who built this ship? Is it common? Why does it have cannons? Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He was speechless when he saw the cannons. Could it be that there were others who were reborn in this world? Otherwise, where did the cannons come from? I don't know who built them, but they are not cannons. They are heavenly swords. They can be imbued with the power of the heavens. When released by the user, they can cause damage in a large area. They are very useful in aerial battles and large-scale battles, Mu Sanyang said. After he finished speaking, he stepped into the air with an icy expression and landed on the warship. Not cannons, but heavenly swords? That's obviously a cannon, okay? Wang Kai couldn't help but rub his nose. He didn't think too much about it. Since there was a warship, it wasn't surprising that there were cannons as well. He just didn't know if there was such a treasure in the system. When Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji landed on the warship, Mu Sanyang said, "Young Master Kai, your power of the heavens is huge. The speed of the warship depends on the power of the heavens. So, you want me to drive the ship?" Wang Kai's face darkened. He looked at the various rooms on the warship. Naturally, he wanted to have a good rest. With that in mind, Wang Kai said with an unreadable expression, "Warning, old pig will go." Before Wang Kai could finish speaking, Zhu Beiji snorted twice, feeling wrong. Chapter 727. Young Master Kai. He doesn't have the power of the heavens. Mu Sanyang said in a low voice. Ever since the destruction of the Windflower City and the ruins of the Romantic Floor, Mu Sanyang's brows were tightly knitted together. Her cold face and murderous eyes made Wang Kai sigh inwardly. If she continued like this, she would go crazy if she couldn't find Mu Wanwan. She was nothing like the gentle and charming girl she was before. He naturally doesn't have the power of the heavens. However, he has the 36 transformations, so he can convert the power he possesses into the power of the heavens. Wang Kai shrugged and said rather casually, regardless of what kind of power Zhu Beiji had, in his world, he lived under the heavens. Even if he didn't have faith, he was still under the heavens. Since their powers came from the same source, he could use them after some transformation. 36 transformations? What do you mean? Mu Sanyang turned her cold eyes and looked at Zhu Beiji in the distance. Zhu Beiji had a dissatisfied look on his face. He snorted twice before reluctantly shouting, "Change! Buzz!" Suddenly, under Zhu Beiji's spell, the power in his body was transformed into the power of the heavens. Moreover, the power of the heavens reached the 9th level. The peak of the 9th level of the heavens. The power of the heavens was at the 9th level. It could be said that he had truly become a cultivator of Tianzhou. Zhu Beiji's transformation has a time limit. I can't maintain this state forever. Zhu Beiji mumbled. The transformation was a success. This situation caused Mu Sanyang's eyes to narrow. She turned and gave Wang Kai a deep look. Without saying a word, she walked down the deck and went to find a room to rest. She wanted to know what kind of cultivators Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji were. But now, she was not in the mood to ask. How long can it last? Wang Kai smiled faintly. 3 days. Cough, cough. Maybe 2 days. At the very least, 1 day. Zhu Beiji said with uncertainty. That's right. It wasn't that he hadn't used the 36 transformations before, but it didn't last long. Hearing this, Wang Kai became impatient. He waved his hand and said, 1 day is enough. This region is very close to the Western region. As long as we are fast enough, we can reach it in less than a day. Let's go. Brother Monkey knows the 72 heavenly transformations. Why don't you let him come? Lao Sha also knows the 36 Disha transformations. Zhu Beiji grumbled unhappily. Then, he carried the 9-toothed rake and walked towards the source of the warship's heavenly power. No matter how unhappy he was, he had to obey. Sha Wujing only knows the 18 transformations. Where did the 36 transformations come from? Wang Kai frowned and asked in surprise. Crack! When Zhu Beiji heard this, he stopped and turned his head around. He looked at Wang Kai and said in shock, Master, are you from that world as well? Immortal? Wang Kai was stunned. He didn't know why Zhu Beiji would ask such a question. In Old Pig's world, the folklore says that Junior Brother Sha only knows 18 transformations. However, that's not the case. Junior Brother Sha is the same as Old Pig. Both of them have the ability of the Disha 36 transformations. Moreover, in terms of transformations, there are only 2 types of transformations, the Heavenly Dipper transformations and the Disha 36 transformations. There's no such thing as 18 transformations. At the same time, he sized up Wang Kai with a strange look in his eyes. If Wang Kai wasn't from that world, why would he know the folklore? When Wang Kai heard this, he came to a realization. Indeed, the common people believe that Sun Wukong knew the 72 transformations of the Heavenly Dipper, and Zhu Beiji knew the 36 transformations of the Earthly Fiend. Then, when it came to Sha Wujing, he should have 18 transformations. But now, it seemed like that wasn't the case. What could be truer than the words of Zhu Beiji himself? Yes, Bin Xiao isn't from your world. Bin Xiao created your world out of boredom. Naturally, he has heard of the folklore. You can go back to work. Wang Kai shrugged and said casually, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. This bragging, Zhu Beiji was inwardly filled with disdain when he heard this. He snorted inwardly and walked away with his 9-toothed rake. Hee. I wonder if the system has the 72 heavenly transformations and 36 Disha transformations. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and walked down the deck excitedly. Below the deck, in the middle of the warship, there was a long corridor. On both sides of the corridor, there was a door every 10 steps. The corridor was very narrow. It could only fit 1 person. Young Master Kai, can you come in and help me? Just as Wang Kai chose a room at random and pushed the door open, he heard Mu Sanyang's voice. Help? Help with what? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows in confusion and turned to close the door. He followed the source of the sound and came to the door of Mu Sanyang's room. Clack! As the door was pushed open by Wang Kai, the scene he saw inside was truly breathtaking. Mu Sanyang's back was facing Wang Kai. She was completely naked. Her dress was half undone. Wang Kai's eyes narrowed, and he held his breath when he saw the soft glow of her snow-white skin. Damn, what's going on? Is she trying to seduce me? Could it be that she is suppressing her anger because her sister is missing and the romantic floor is in ruins? Is she trying to use Ben Xiao's body to vent her anger? Damn it, What kind of person does she think Ben Shao is? Ahem, but Ben Shao is such a righteous, tolerant, and compassionate person. I should bite the bullet and fulfill her wish. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. In the blink of an eye, many thoughts flashed through Wang Kai's mind, but in the end, he naturally chose to comply. Young Master Kai, can you help me undo my dress? My hand can't reach there. Mu Sanyang's voice was stiff, and she pretended to be seductive. However, her ice-cold face and eyes that were filled with killing intent betrayed the attitude she was putting on at this moment. She was not in the mood to seduce him, but she still did it. What was Mu Sanyang thinking? Moreover, as a peak Celestial Circle expert, how could she not even undo her own dress? Even if she was immortal, she could still undo her own clothes. Okay? Mu Huan, this young master won't ask what you want to do. However, you don't need to do this. Although this young master is fond of beauties, this young master isn't someone who will submit to anyone. However, if you insist on doing so, this young master will naturally fulfill your wish for the sake of righteousness. Wang Kai shrugged and spoke with an indifferent expression. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. A pervert is a pervert. What does that have to do with the greater good? Mu Sanyang's eyes were full of disdain. She turned around with a cold face and exposed her naked front to Wang Kai. Young Master Kai, am I beautiful? Chapter 728. How dare she ask him if she was beautiful? If it were any other man, they would definitely say that she was very beautiful, right? Unfortunately, Wang Kai wasn't such a person from beginning to end. It's passable. For someone like this young master who has seen tens of thousands of beauties, it's barely passable. There's no need to control it. Continue taking it off. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a teasing smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Don't hold back. Continue taking it off. Barely passable. Damn you. Mu Sanyang was in a bad mood and was filled with murderous intent. But as a woman, she was not happy to hear Wang Kai's comment. Young Master Kai, if you can help me find my sister and avenge the romantic floor, clatter. Before Mu Sanyang could finish speaking, Wang Kai had already taken out his folding fan and interrupted her. He was surprised at first, but now it seemed that it was just as he had guessed. Mu Sanyang had a favor to ask of him, which was why she did this. In the end, she did not trust him. Otherwise, she would not have done this. There's no need to show off. No matter how beautiful your body is, it's just a stinky skin. This young master originally wanted to help you, but unfortunately, your current appearance really makes it difficult for this young master to help. So, you have to think of a way yourself. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a rather casual expression, Clatter. As his voice faded, the door was shut by Wang Kai, leaving Mu Sanyang standing there in a daze with a pair of empty eyes. She couldn't understand why such a lecherous man like Wang Kai would refuse her taking the initiative to throw herself at him. Moreover, he had rejected him so simply and cleanly. What kind of person was he? She did not know that Wang Kai's face was as dark as ink. Thinking about what he said just now, he wanted to slap himself a few times. Damn it, why didn't I just say yes? If that's the case, I can still taste the beauty of the world. What a pity, what a pity. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed inwardly. He glanced at the door with great reluctance. In the end, he could only grit his teeth and leave. Since he had already acted tough, how could he embarrass himself? After randomly finding a room, Wang Kai sat on the wooden bed and slowly closed his eyes. Flying-type magical equipment must also have offensive capabilities. If it has defensive capabilities, that would be even better. Just a bit faster. Wang Kai activated his mind and secretly communicated with the system. He opened the page of the ultimate magical artifact. As he scanned the area, he was quite surprised. There were simply too many offensive magical treasures that could fly. His eyes were dazzled. For a moment, he did not know which one to choose. Even Wang Kai had the urge to take them all. There are thousands of level 9 celestial martial divine weapons that can fly. Wang Kai was startled by what he saw. Inside, there were warships, flying saucers, flutes, flying swords, and even palaces. There was everything. However, each type of level 9 celestial martial divine weapon that could fly required 5,000 bragging points. Seeing this, Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He was afraid that it would be impossible for him to take them all. Host, Wang Kai profession, heavenly martial artist realm. Level 5 heavenly path Dao technique. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth heavenly martial technique. Extermination lightning fireblade. Airlock step. Undying shield. Lightning speed blade equipment. Ever-changing fan. Heavenly blade. Heavenly crown. Heavenly armor power of heaven. Level 9 astral origin points. 0 physique. Invulnerable protector spirit beasts. None bragging points. 63,000 experience. 3000000 4000000 inch 63,000. Forget it. I'll take one first. Wang Kai glanced at the bragging points he had. Although there were a lot of bragging points, he did not know what kind of danger he would encounter in Tianzhou. Moreover, a level 9 celestial martial divine weapon required 5,000 bragging points. If he used them carelessly, he would use them all up. Thinking of this, Wang Kai could only choose one item. This palace is not bad. It's beautiful and domineering. It suits Ben Xiao's supreme disposition. I'll take you, Wang Kai said with a smile. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the rank 6 heavenly path realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining a level 9 celestial martial divine weapon, Buzhou Heaven Palace. 5,000 bragging points have been used. Buzz. Patter. As the notification disappeared, a miniature palace appeared in front of Wang Kai. It floated in the air and emitted a mysterious aura. Buzhou Heaven Palace. TSK, what a good name. From now on, Ben Xiao will be called the ruler of Buzhou. As the ruler of Tianzhou, Ben Xiao is indeed suitable for this name. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Bang bang. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. Wang Kai, who was in the midst of his joy, could not help but be startled. Swoosh! He put away the Buzhou Heaven Palace and said indifferently, "Come in." Patter. As the door was gently pushed open, the haggard Mu Sanyang appeared in front of Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang, who should have been filled with killing intent, looked extremely haggard, as if she was terminally ill. Young Master Kai, please help me plop." Mu Sanyang sobbed softly. As soon as she finished speaking, she knelt on the ground. Her beauty could not move Wang Kai. Now, for the sake of her sister Mu Wanwan and the revenge of the destruction of romantic floor, she could only do this. Looking at Mu Sanyang's actions, Wang Kai frowned. He couldn't help but feel guilty. However, Wang Kai did not regret it. Instead of letting Mu Sanyang live in hatred, it was better to find a way to change her. If he had agreed to Mu Sanyang's request and had sex with her, the consequences would have been more serious. Wouldn't it have been better if you did this earlier? But you don't have to kneel. Ben Xiao is such a kind man. How could he not help a beautiful woman when she is in trouble? Come, sit down and rest. Wang Kai suddenly got off the bed and walked to Mu Sanyang's side. He very attentively helped her up, and at the same time, his hand dishonestly slid down her back. Young Master Kai, whoosh. Mu Sanyang was stunned, as if she had been struck by lightning. She stared blankly at Wang Kai as he pushed her to sit on the wooden bed. She just couldn't understand why such a frivolous and lecherous man would reject her before. Don't worry. As for our sister, Mu Wanwan's matter, as her brother-in-law, I will naturally handle it perfectly. What powerful enemy! Under Ben Xiao's terrifying strength, they will be nothing. Wang Kai waved his arm and smiled confidently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. The new book was released at the same time. It was called The Unparalleled God Devourer, and the author's ID was Shimin Lang Lang. After Dongmin Buching, it was time to start the fun. Haha, I hope everyone will support the new book. It is passionate, funny, and, well, in short, it has everything you can think of. Chapter 729, Brother-in-Law. Such words made Mu Sanyang feel even more strange. She had boldly taken the initiative to throw herself into Wang Kai's arms, only to be rejected by him. Now, not only was he attentive, but he was also secretly taking advantage of her. What made Mu Sanyang even more confused was that he even said he was Mu Wanwan's brother-in-law. What was he trying to do? Mu Sanyang was helpless against Wang Kai's unpredictable personality. However, as long as he promised to find Mu Wanwan and avenge the romantic floor, he could do whatever he wanted. Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang raised her head and looked straight at Wang Kai with her beautiful eyes. Her red lips parted slightly. Thank you, young Master Kai. Do you need to be so serious? Wang Kai, who had just stretched out his evil hand, was shocked by Mu Sanyang's sincere and indecipherable gaze. His hand froze in midair. Ahem, don't worry. As long as Ben Shao is here, everything in this world is yours. Finding someone and taking revenge is nothing. It's just a small matter. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled proudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Listen up, the helmsman of the warship in front. Stop the warship and hand it over. Young Master Nalen will reward you handsomely for gifting the ship. Stop. Hand over the warship? Hee hee, the woman beside you is quite pretty. Why don't you let this old pig play with her for a few days? Bastard, how dare you be so rude to Miss Nalen? Men, seal this ship. Seal your ass. Watch this old pig smash you to pieces. Buzz. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, the warship began to shake violently as a series of loud noises rang out. Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang, who were in the room, also swayed back and forth unsteadily. What's going on? Can an accident happen in the air? Whoosh! Wang Kai furrowed his brows and snorted with a dark expression. He immediately grabbed Mu Sanyang's arm and rushed up to the deck. However, what they saw left Wang Kai and Mu Sanyang dumbfounded. How could the current warship still look like a warship? It was obviously the remains of a half-destroyed ship. Moreover, on both sides of the warship, there were two halves of the ship. It was obvious that the warship had smashed them into two halves. Master, this group of dogs wanted to rob the ship. Old Pig was so angry that he knocked their ship away. Suddenly, Zhu Beiji harumphed from below. Even now, his tone was still unfriendly. He was already in a bad mood because he was forced by Wang Kai to sail the boat. Now that he was robbed on the way, he was on the verge of exploding in anger. It had directly evolved into its current state. What a bunch of big dogs. When Wang Kai heard this, the corner of his mouth twitched violently. He could not help but rub his nose as he looked down at Zhu Beiji, who was using the nine-toothed rake to hold up the warship so that it would not fall. That aggressive appearance of his made Wang Kai speechless. Bastard! Bastard! Do you know that young Master Nalen and young Lady Nalen are the top geniuses of the Nalen family? Who dares to disrespect them in the alchemist domain? The Nalen family? The alchemist domain? When he heard this, Wang Kai scanned the ground below. After confirming that they were indeed out of the 6th region, he looked at the dozen figures who were floating in the air due to the destruction of the warship. The one who was leading the group was a guard in armor. Behind him, there were also a dozen or so guards. They formed a circle around the young man and woman, protecting them within it. The young man and woman were wearing long white robes. On their long robes, there was a blue crescent moon symbol. It must be the Nalen family's emblem, right? Alchemist. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled in surprise. The heavenly energy that he sensed from the young man and woman was extremely weak. It was equivalent to the heavenly yuan stage. Instead, the aura of herbs circulating around them was extremely dense. That's right, bastard. Aren't you from the alchemist domain? That must be the case. Otherwise, why would you be so disrespectful to the Nayland family? Since you don't know the situation, leave the warship behind and scram. The leader of the armored guards berated in a stern voice. Clang! At the same time, the guard waved his hand and unsheathed his long saber. Waves of heavenly energy swept out. Are all the people from the alchemist domain so good at showing off? But just a mere heavenly emperor realm cultivation, you also have the nerve to shout and shout to kill with this young master. When you guys were hit, did your heads get pinched by the door too? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said with a rather disdainful expression, swoosh. The moment these words were spoken, it immediately caused the eyes of the leader of the guards to darken. The bodies of the 10 or so guards behind him also suddenly trembled. Guardly, forget it. We don't have to do this. Just as the leading guard was about to speak, the young man in the middle waved his hand and stopped him. He turned around and walked to the front. Sorry, we were rude. I am Nayland Xiong from the Nayland family. I came out this time to look for some elixirs so that I can stand out in the alchemist competition organized by the Nayland family. However, only your grandpa? Ben Xiao doesn't have the mood to know who you are and what you want to do. If you want to talk, let the beauty come over. Otherwise, Before Nayland Xiong could finish his words, Wang Kai waved his hand and interrupted him. He raised his hand and pointed at the young woman who lowered her head. Nayland Xiong's face was filled with embarrassment. He knew his sister very well. She was afraid of strangers. If she angered Wang Kai, wouldn't all her efforts be wasted? My name is Nayland Xiong. I am his sister. Suddenly, the young woman slowly raised her head. Her silver-white eyes dodged back and forth as she introduced herself. However, her trembling tone and her intermittent introduction betrayed the calmness she was pretending to be at that moment. TSK, not bad, not bad. You are as beautiful as Ruoshui. How about this? You can be Ben Xiao's maid and Ruoshui's companion. Yes, when Ruoshui wakes up, Ben Xiao will let her out and you can get to know her. Wang Kai smiled casually as he narrowed his eyes. Ruoshui, Mu Sanyang secretly despised him. Ever since the battle at Fengyang village, Wang Kai had hidden Ruoshui somewhere. Until now, she still hadn't seen her. Now, he wanted to find a maid. What kind of weirdo was he? Impudent. How can a young lady of the Nayland family be your maid? Do you not want to live? Just as Nayland Xiong and Nayland Shuiyang were in a difficult position, Guardly suddenly roared. His angry appearance was as if he couldn't wait to fight with Wang Kai. Chapter 730. Are you tired of living? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and snorted coldly. You're the one who's tired of living, aren't you? You've been grumbling since just now. Do you really want Ben Xiao to release you? Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, terrifying Dao intent swept out from Wang Kai's body and suppressed Guardly, causing his face to turn pale. At this moment, everyone knew Wang Kai's cultivation realm. It had surpassed the Tianhui realm, even the divine realm. He was several times stronger than the top experts of the Nayland family. Heavenly Dao realm. At this moment, Guard Li's heart was beating violently. His eyes were filled with fear on his pale face. He never expected Wang Kai to be so strong. At such a young age, he already possessed such a terrifying cultivation. Even if he didn't put the Nayland family in his eyes, it was reasonable, right? After all, in Guard Li's knowledge, Lin Fan's cultivation aura could be ranked in the top 3 among the top experts of the Nayland family. Senior, please calm down. It's my fault for not recognizing Mount Tai. I hope that Senior can show mercy. Guardly was seen kneeling in midair, clenching his fists and clenching his teeth. His expression was filled with lingering fear. If he really angered Lin Fan, not only would he lose his life, but he would also implicate the young master and young Mississippi get lost. Ben Xiao isn't in the mood to do anything to you. Go to the side. Wang Kai's expression was rather impatient as he waved his hand. He could more or less guess Guard Li's actions. Even if Guard Li begged for mercy, Wang Kai believed that if he really did harm to Nalan Yingxiong and Nalan Shuiong, Guard Li would definitely fight him to the death. Now, Guard Li was only begging for mercy for the safety of Nalan Yingxiong and Nalan Shuiong. Senior, please let us go. In the future, we will definitely repay you. Nalan Yingxiong's face was slightly stiff. He was shocked by Wang Kai's terrifying cultivation. As for Nalan Shuiong, she was so frightened that her face turned pale and her delicate body trembled slightly. As for the other guards, needless to say, they were already in a state of fear and despair. Originally, they thought of robbing Wang Kai's warship because it could no longer move forward. But in the end, it wasn't a robbery. They just wanted to borrow it temporarily. After that, with the Nalan family status, they would pay back double. But who knew that Lin Fan had no intention of borrowing it? Instead, the Nalan Yingxiong and Nalan Yingxiong's. In the future, of course, the Nalan Yingxiong and Nalan Yingxiong. I will definitely repay you in the future. Why does it sound like I'm talking tough? If I didn't intend to let you go, would I still be hunted down by the Nalan family? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said with a speechless expression. Hearing this, Nalan Yingxiong's eyes darkened. He was helpless against such words. But no matter what, it was his side that was in the wrong. Thinking of this, Nalan Yingxiong cupped his fists and said, "To be honest, although I'm one of the successors of the Nalan family, I'm only one of them. The purpose of this alchemy conference is to choose the only successor. Because of this, our warship was attacked by the other disciples of the Nalan family. As a result, we can no longer move forward. So, you want to rob Bencheo's warship so that you can win the alchemy conference, right? Do you think you're God? Do you think you can rob as you please? Others may be afraid of your Nalan family, but I'm sorry. Benchao has never been afraid of anyone since he was born. He has never been defeated." Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered with disdain. "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through to the 7th grade heavenly Tao realm. Never been defeated? Never been afraid of anyone?" Hearing these words, everyone's expression changed again. Although they did not believe him, he was so young and his cultivation was so high. In Tianzhou, there were not many people in the younger generation who could defeat him. Perhaps not even one. He's bragging again. However, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes flickered. She despised him in her heart. He had never been defeated. He had just been defeated by the Ghost Tao Sovereign. Now, he was talking as if he was invincible. "Please forgive me, Senior. I will pay you back double for the destruction of the warship after the alchemy conference," Nalan Yingxiong said sincerely. "Patter." Wang Kai flipped open his folding fan. As he waved it, he looked at Nalan Shuiong and smiled faintly. "There's no need for that. It's just a warship. Benchao has thousands of them. If you want to pay for it, let her be Bencheo's maid. Yes, I will pay you back in a year. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points." This Nalan Yingxiong was about to say something when he was stopped by Guard Li. "Master, for the sake of winning the alchemy conference, you should agree to it for the time being. As long as you become the successor of the Nalan family, it will be easy for you to take Miss back or even kill him in the 5th domain." Guard Li sneered secretly. Swoosh! Hearing this, Nalan Yingxiong's eyes darkened. He glared fiercely at Guard Li and did not respond. Instead, he looked at Wang Kai and cupped his fist. "Senior, please forgive me. I cannot agree to this condition. If you insist, I'm afraid you will be killed." It was a fatal disaster. TSK. Benchao would like to know what you mean by killed. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled in surprise. Swoosh! Suddenly, Nalan Yingxiong took out a black token and turned to Wang Kai. He said seriously, "As long as I give up on the alchemy conference and inform the Nalan family of what happened here, you will have nowhere to run in the 5th domain." Clap, clap, clap. Wang Kai immediately clapped his hands when he saw this. His expression was one of admiration as he smiled and said, "Not bad, not bad. You have guts. In that case, call your men over. I want to see how strong the cultivators of the 5th region are." You. Nalan Ingxiong's face darkened. He had intended to use this to make Wang Kai give in, but he did not expect Wang Kai to be even more aggressive. He was not afraid at all. "Master, you can't do this," Gardley said in a low voice. Many guards cupped their fists and begged. To them, Nalan Ingxiong was their last hope. If they could not win the alchemy conference and the position of the family head fell into the hands of others, it would be difficult for them to survive in the Nalan family in the future. After all, they had chosen a loser. I am willing to be Senior's maid. However, Senior, can you do me a favor?" Suddenly, Nalan Xiong, who had been silent, stepped forward and spoke. Her words caused Nalan Ingxiong and the rest to change their expressions. Chapter 731. She agreed to be his maid just because he asked for her help? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and looked at her in surprise. Just as he was about to speak, Nalan Ingxiong interrupted him. "Nonsense. Gardley, take Xiuyang away." Nalan Ingxiong frowned and scolded coldly. If it was possible, he would have done it long ago. Why would he wait for Nalan Xiuyang to speak? However, before Gardley could take action, Nalan Xiuyang had already taken a step forward and directly arrived beside Wang Kai. Her delicate body trembled as she said in a very soft voice, You will agree to help me, right?" I will." Wang Kai was stunned for a moment. Her expression clearly showed that she was afraid, yet she still dared to approach him. Furthermore, her body was trembling because she was worried that he would not agree, making it hard for him to look straight at her. He could not bear to do anything to her. He had to admit that although this girl was timid, she was cute. At least, she was strong. Xiuyang swoosh. Nalan Ingxiong frowned. His face was ashen as he was about to pull Nalan Xiuyang back. However, when he took a step forward, he was scared stiff by Wang Kai's gaze. "Senior, she's still young. She's only 17. Please let her go. I'm willing to be your slave," Nalan Ingxiong said with a sorrowful expression. In the end, he bent his knees and knelt in the air. "Only 17? Damn, she's so young?" Hearing this, Wang Kai's expression suddenly froze. Only then did he seriously size her up. When he discovered that her age was indeed around 17, he suddenly felt a sense of guilt in his heart. Originally, Wang Kai thought that those who could reach the Sky origin stage in Tianzhou would have to cultivate for at least a few decades, or even a few centuries. But now, Nalan Xiuyang was only 17 years old. Moreover, she was an alchemist. She had nothing to do with being a cultivator. If so, how did she reach the heavenly Yuan stage? With such talent, if she specialized in martial arts, wouldn't she be awesome? "Senior, you will agree, right?" Just as Wang Kai was frowning and secretly marveling, Nalan Xiuyang, who was at the side, couldn't help but cry softly. Tears were almost rolling out of her eyes. "Senior, please let me go. Get lost. Don't interrupt when Ben Xiao wants to speak. Also, you want to be Ben Xiao's servant. Do you think Ben Xiao will agree? What's the use of having a man like you? It's better for you to be a girl." Hee hee. At last, Wang Kai's lips curled into a smile. Such a licentious appearance really caused the faces of the people who saw it to stiffen. Everyone knew what Wang Kai's plan. "Senior, since you're so unreasonable, there's no need for me to continue begging. I hope that you can withstand the wrath of the Nalan family." Buzz. Suddenly, Nalan Ingxiong flipped his hand and took out the soul tablet. He was about to send his consciousness into it. "No, you can't do that." Crack. Just as Nalan Xiuyang cried out anxiously, Wang Kai waved his hand. A streamer shot out and smashed the soul plate. She said, "You can't do that." So, as her master, Ben Xiao has to help her. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed. Whoosh. Seeing this, Nalan Ingxiong's face turned pale. He looked at Wang Kai in despair. He could not believe that Wang Kai would be so rude. Also, don't say that Ben Xiao is unreasonable. Since your worship is broken, you have to steal someone else's worship. Bin Shao can't do anything about it. However, you came to steal Bin Shao's worship. Tell me, do you deserve it when Bin Shao beat you up? Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled disdainfully. People were often like that. When they provoked others, they would not say that they were in the wrong. On the contrary, when they were bullied, they would speak their mind. Given Wang Kai's temper, it would be his greatest fortune if he didn't kill this pretentious robber who tried to rob him. Trash, do you dare to kill me? Whoosh! Suddenly, Nailing Xiong stood up and stared at Wang Kai with disdain. Trash, in an instant, the air around them seemed to have stopped. Mu San Yang, Nailing Xiuyang, and the guard were all frozen in place. They could not understand why Nailing Xiong would seek his own death. Do you think Bin Shao won't kill you? Wang Kai squinted his eyes. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Nailing Xiong had been acting tough all this time. No one had ever called him trash. Wang Kai thought that Nailing Xiong's behavior was ridiculous and infuriating. No, master, please let my brother go. If you kill him, the elders in my family will find out about his death. By then, Xiuyang, shut up. Before Nailing Xiuyang could finish her sentence, Nailing Ingxiong shouted at her with a cold face. When he looked at Wang Kai again, he sneered even more coldly. You don't dare, do you? Cowardly trash. You are a heavenly path realm expert, but you are so useless. Your legs are an obstacle. They should be cut off. Buzz. Poof. Woo. In an instant, Wang Kai, who had an indifferent look on his face, raised his hand and pointed a finger in the distance. Streams of wool swept out and pierced through Nailing Ingxiong's legs. Trash. Trash. Kill me if you have the guts. Kill me. You trash. Nailing Ingxiong, who had lost his legs, was held up in the air by Li Wei and the others. However, he was still shouting and cursing like a madman. Brother. No. Nailing Xiuyang was so scared that her face turned pale. After a scream, she fainted on the spot and fell from the sky. What are you looking at? Take care of her. Wang Kai frowned and said lightly. Swoosh. Mu Sanyang glared at Wang Kai fiercely. Then, her body flashed, and she caught the unconscious Nailing Xiuyang in her arms. Your arms are also obstacles. Cut them off together. Buzz. Crack. Wang Kai raised his arm and pointed again. Dowel swept out, and Nailing Xiong's arms exploded in the air. He was originally a handsome young master, but now he had lost all 4 of his limbs. Waste. Nailing Xiong clenched his teeth under the intense pain and did not scream. He coldly glanced at Wang Kai and fainted on the spot after spitting out a word. His breath became very weak. If he was left alone, Nailing Xiong would definitely die. You want Bin Shao to kill you, but Bin Shao won't let you do as you wish. As for how strong the Nailing family is, Bin Shao would like to see it for himself. Unfortunately, he won't have the chance for now. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered with disdain. My new book, The Unparalleled God Devourer, has just been released. I'm still in the process of signing the contract, so I can't find it for now. Thank you for your support. Chapter 732. Whoosh. Buzz. Wang Kai flipped his hand and flicked a drop of essence blood into Nailing Xiong's body, causing his limbs and injuries to heal rapidly. Even so, Nailing Xiong could not wake up due to the mental torture. Just like the injury he had suffered earlier, it would be impossible for him to wake up without a few days of rest. Buzhou Sky Palace. Whoosh. Then, while everyone was still confused about what Wang Kai wanted to do, a magnificent, domineering, and majestic palace appeared in the sky. Furthermore, that enormous golden palace was actually floating in the sky. Such a scene immediately caused everyone to swallow a mouthful of saliva. A level 9 flying palace magical treasure. A level 9 martial weapon. Oh my god. Who is he? How could he have such a magical treasure? The crowd exclaimed. Not only did he have a terrifying cultivation at such a young age, but the magical treasure he had was also terrifying. Since you have a martial weapon, why did you ask me to take out the warship? It's all destroyed now. Mu Sanyang blinked her beautiful eyes and snorted angrily. Without waiting for Wang Kai's explanation, she took Nalan Shuiyang and flew into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Go back and tell the Nalan family that if they want to exchange for the siblings, they should bring their best treasure to the border between the alchemist realm and the Tongtian realm. Wang Kai shrugged and said casually, Buzz. As soon as he finished speaking, Nalan Ningxiong's body was brought into the Buzhou Sky Palace by Wang Kai. Since the Nalan family was so powerful, Wang Kai wanted to see how powerful they were. Maybe he could meet an opponent like the demon god Zhang Hu. At that time, he could have a good fight. Wang Kai's biggest hope now was to find an opponent who was on par with him and fight a few rounds. What's more, the robbery had already landed on his head. If he didn't pay a price, Wang Kai would indeed feel unhappy. Guardly, what should we do? Should we save young master and young mistress? The guards at the side were worried when they saw the Buzhou Sky Palace flying away. If this continued, Hero Nalan's alchemist conference would definitely be defeated. Save him? How to save him? Can you do it? Or are you capable? Guardly coldly snorted with an ugly expression. He swept his gaze over the guards one by one. Wherever his gaze passed, they all lowered their heads. Let's return to the Nalan family for the time being and report this matter to the family head. Since the matter has come to this point, there is no other way. Guardly's expression was gloomy and uncertain. In the end, he could only sigh. Encountering a powerhouse like Wang Kai, there was really no way at all. If they had known earlier that he was so powerful, Guardly would never have chosen to rob his warship, even if he was beaten to death. You don't even have a private room. Even if there wasn't, there should at least be a chair or something, right? Do you want Ben Xiao to sit on the ground? At the same time, in Buzhou Sky Palace, Wang Kai scanned his surroundings with an unfriendly gaze, only to find that there was nothing in the hall. The spacious palace was completely empty. Master, there are some flaws in your treasure. Zhu Beiji couldn't help but chuckle as he looked around with a nine-toothed rake on his shoulder. Flaws? Wang Kai's face instantly darkened. He thought that a treasure like this palace would be extremely comfortable, but who would have thought that there wasn't even a seat? That's how a level 9 Imperial weapon works. It doesn't need the power of the heavens to fly, and its speed is extremely fast. It's not something a level 8 Imperial weapon can compare to. Of course, everything has its pros and cons. Such a transcendent ability doesn't allow for any external objects. Mu Sanyang said faintly. Plop. Hearing this, Wang Kai came to a realization and threw the unconscious hero Nalan to the ground. Young Lord Kai, is the direction you set for Buzhou Sky Palace at the border of the alchemist domain? Mu Sanyang suddenly blinked her beautiful eyes and asked. Seeing that Wang Kai seemed to have just discovered the use of a level 9 Imperial weapon, Mu Sanyang was a little suspicious. What? Can it fly by itself? Wang Kai was stunned when he heard this, and he touched his nose with a puzzled expression. You really don't know? Mu Sanyang's expression froze. She quickly tapped her feet, and her figure appeared at the entrance of Buzhou Sky Palace. Looking at the direction they were flying in, her beautiful eyes were dazed. Young Lord Kai, we are now heading towards the Eastern Domain. At this speed, we will reach the border of the Eastern Domain in less than half an hour. Hearing Mu Sanyang's words, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly. Zhu Beiji covered his mouth and secretly laughed at the side. Haha, of course. Ben Xiao originally planned to take a look at the Yellow Spring training ground. Isn't the Eastern Domain the Yellow Spring training ground? Don't worry, everything is under Ben Xiao's control. Wang Kai put his hands behind his back and smiled awkwardly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Going to the Yellow Spring training ground? Is this for real? Didn't he just say that he was going to meet the Nalan family at the border of the Alchemist Domain and Tongtian Domain? Why did he say he was going to the Yellow Spring training ground now? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang blinked her beautiful eyes. Looking at Wang Kai's awkward expression, she understood what was going on. Wang Kai didn't know the exact method to control a level 9 Imperial weapon. Now that he said it, it was all a bluff to regain his face. Thinking of this, Mu Sanyang didn't pursue the matter. With the speed of a level 9 Imperial weapon, it would take at most 2 hours to travel between the two domains. Huan, Ben Xiao wants to test you. How do you determine the direction of a level 9 Imperial weapon? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with an unfathomable expression. Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes were dazed. She looked at Wang Kai in confusion. It was strange. They were already going to the Yellow Spring training ground. Why was he still asking this? She didn't know that Wang Kai was afraid of flying in the wrong direction again. At that time, he would lose all his face. Just use your mind, Mu Sanyang said. Mind? You're not bad. You still remember the method to control a level 9 Imperial weapon. Ben Xiao's teaching was not in vain. Wang Kai nodded and smiled casually. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You've received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. What? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang's expression froze. She stared at Wang Kai in disbelief. She couldn't believe that he was the one who taught her everything she knew about the celestial martial weapon. How could he brag like this? Buzz. However, Wang Kai didn't have time to look at her face. He secretly used his mind to communicate with the Heavenly Palace and set the coordinates to the Yellow Spring training ground. Master, there's something that I'm curious about. Did you summon Junior Brother Sha? I've been feeling that Junior Brother Sha is also in Tianzhou these days. Zhu Beiji said curiously. Chapter 733. Monk Sha? Wang Kai frowned when he heard that. He looked at Zhu Beiji in surprise and asked, He's still in Tianzhou? Where is he? Logically speaking, as long as the summoned powerhouses completed the task given to them, they should automatically disappear and return to their respective realms. If so, why did Zhu Beiji sense Monk Sha? Slap. F*CK. I forgot about it. Before Zhu Beiji could say anything, Wang Kai slapped his thigh. He was speechless. Previously, in order to summon Sun Wukong and control him, he had upgraded the summoning function. As long as it was not sent back with Wang Kai's permission, the summoned party could not go back. I don't know where he is, but he must be in Tianzhou. Moreover, he has converted the power of heaven, just like me. Zhu Beiji snorted. He had converted the power of heaven. He even left without permission. Did he want to stay in Tianzhou? Wang Kai was stunned when he heard that. He did not expect that Monk Sha, an honest person, would do such a sneaky thing. However, in the end, it was Wang Kai's carelessness that caused this. When he summoned Monk Sha, he did not pay much attention to him because of Mu Sanyang and her sister. As a result, Monk Sha ran away secretly. Sun Wukong, did he tell you that he was summoned? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a playful look. Whoosh! Zhu Beiji was stunned when he heard that. He said in surprise, Master, you are really amazing. Eldest senior brother did tell us a few times. He also told us to be careful. Oh, when you came, you should have known what was going on, right? In that case, why did you pretend that you didn't know? Did you want to stay? Or did you want to run out of Tianzhou alone? Wang Kai frowned and looked at him with a playful look. In that case, everything made sense. Monk Sha took the opportunity to escape because he knew about the summoning in advance. Zhu Beiji naturally knew about it. However, he did not have a chance because Su Mo was watching him. Humph, Master, I didn't think too much at that time. Zhu Beiji carried the nine-toothed rake and sat in the corner with a guilty conscience. Seeing that he was obviously lying, Wang Kai couldn't help but touch his nose and said with a playful smile, You said that you can sense Monk Sha because you don't like him being free and easy outside, so? Master, please spare this old pig. This old pig will confess. I'll confess. Zhu Beiji immediately blushed and waved his hands embarrassedly. Suddenly, he felt like he was confessing without being pressed. If he hadn't told Wang Kai about Monk Sha, Wang Kai probably wouldn't have noticed this. Monk Sha, you and Ben Xiao, do you want to be a human? Come here and confess your sins. Buzz. Suddenly, Wang Kai put his hands behind his back and smiled faintly at the void. Master, could it be that you're able to capture him just by speaking? Zhu Beiji was stunned when he saw this. At first, he wanted to know what kind of ability Wang Kai had to be able to capture Monk Sha. If he did not, Zhu Beiji would naturally find a chance to escape. As long as he was not forcibly controlled like when he was just summoned, it would be easy for him to escape. Warning, you have to be kind. Even if you're a pig, you have to be kind. Master has treated you well, right? I'll let you sleep with thousands of beauties. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled casually. Damn you, pig demon. Pig scum. In the distance, Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes suddenly turned cold, and she glared at Zhu Beiji with disgust. Why are you scolding me? Although I slept with those beauties, they were given by Master. If you want to talk about the culprit, it's Master. Zhu Beiji snorted with dissatisfaction. If they were given to you, would you defile them? If I gave you a guillotine, would you chop off your own head? Pig scum. Mu Sanyang refuted without showing any weakness. The disdain in her eyes grew stronger. You? Zhu Beiji was speechless and did not know what to say. He was speechless and wanted to know why Mu Sanyang did not dare to talk about Wang Kai. Little did he know that Mu Sanyang had to rely on Wang Kai to find her sister and take revenge. In that case, even if she was dissatisfied with Wang Kai, she did not show it. Crack! Suddenly, the space in front of Wang Kai was torn apart. Within it, a young man in white robes appeared before him. He was dressed in an extremely elegant manner. Seeing this scene, Wang Kai's expression froze. If the young man was not holding Monk Sha's special weapon, the demon-subduing wand, he would not have recognized him. Damn, you're living a good life, aren't you? Before Wang Kai could say anything, Zhu Beiji had already stood up and walked to the entrance of the Buzhou Sky Palace with a nine-toothed rake on his shoulder. He widened his eyes and stared at Monk Sha with an aggressive look. Zhu Beiji was living a good life. However, he was always under Wang Kai's control, so he felt uncomfortable. Monk Sha, on the other hand, was not only undisciplined, but he was also dressed very well. This was especially true for his face, which should have been skinny and honest. However, at this moment, he looked radiant and extraordinarily handsome. It could be seen that Monk Sha was living a good life in Tianzhou. Benefactor, what can I do for you? Monk Sha put his palms together calmly and bowed slightly to Wang Kai to greet him. Seeing this scene, not only was Wang Kai's mouth twitching, even Zhu Beiji felt extremely disgusted. Junior brother Sha, why are you still acting tough? It's a crime to act tough in front of our master. Zhu Beiji shook his nine-toothed rake and sneered disdainfully. Come in. Wang Kai waved his hand, and Monk Sha was directly thrown into the Buzhou Sky Palace. As the palace gate closed, Monk Sha suddenly appeared a little flustered. You're Tang Sanzang? Monk Sha swallowed his saliva and looked at Wang Kai with panic in his eyes. Bang! Suddenly, Zhu Beiji stepped forward and hit Monk Sha with his rake, causing him to tumble a few times. He's not Tang Sanzang. He's the most powerful ruler in Tianzhou and also Zhu Beiji's master. Zhu Beiji said proudly, the most powerful ruler in Tianzhou. Monk Sha was stunned when he heard that. He whispered suspiciously, shouldn't the ruler of Tianzhou be the Empyrean Palace? Is my master the Empyrean Palace master? Bang! However, as soon as Monk Sha finished speaking, Zhu Beiji hit him again with his rake. This time, Monk Sha was beaten even more miserably. His body tumbled a few hundred times in Buzhou Sky Palace. What are you talking about? What's the Empyrean Palace master? He's just a bum in front of our master. Zhu Beiji held his head high and gloated at Monk Sha's misfortune. Looking at Monk Sha's lofty appearance, Zhu Beiji naturally could not stand it. Now that he could take the opportunity to teach Monk Sha a lesson, he was very proud of himself. Bang! Master, why are you hitting Zhu Beiji? Zhu Beiji, who was very proud of himself, suddenly felt as if he had been hit hard on the back of his head. He was slapped to the ground by Wang Kai. Wang Kai's face darkened, and his forehead was full of black lines as he coldly snorted and said, You've already bragged, so what do you want Master to brag about? Chapter 734. I, Old Pig, am not bragging. I am telling the truth. Master, you may not know Old Pig. I, Old Pig, have never lied. Zhu Beiji harumphed, as if he had been wronged. He carried his nine-toothed rake and walked to a corner with his lonely figure. Then he sat down. This scene caused Wang Kai's mouth to twitch slightly. He thought to himself, this Zhu Beiji's bootlicking skills are really amazing. Pretentious. You're too pretentious. I can't imitate you. Monk Sha got up with bruises all over his face. He stared at Zhu Beiji fiercely, raised his arm, and pointed at Zhu Beiji. His tone was full of disdain. As Zhu Beiji's junior brother, how could Monk Sha not know what he was thinking? However, he had never been a match for Zhu Beiji. This was the only thing that made Monk Sha very aggrieved. Well, you're not any better. You sneaked away to enjoy life outside. Before this, have you thought about how you're going to explain yourself when Ben Xiao catches you? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a teasing smile. Whoosh. Hearing this, Monk Sha's face suddenly stiffened. He didn't even think about how he was going to explain himself when he was caught. It was better to say that he had never thought that he would be caught. In the distance, Zhu Beiji raised his arm, covered half of his face with his sleeve, and laughed gloatingly. I'm willing to be your disciple. I'll go through fire and water for you. Suddenly, Monk Sha's face turned solemn. He cupped his fists and bowed respectfully to express his stance. He thought that Wang Kai would respond with a smile, but to his surprise, Wang Kai showed a disdainful look. Do you think you could be my disciple just because you want to? Let's see if Ben Xiao is willing to accept you as his disciple. You need to know that in this world, there are many people who want to become Ben Xiao's disciple. Even the Empyrean Palace Master you mentioned is Ben Xiao's nominal disciple. All his achievements were taught by Ben Xiao. Wang Kai shrugged and sneered with a disdainful expression. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 7th grade Heavenly Tao Realm. Hearing this, Monk Sha's expression became increasingly ugly. His eyes were filled with panic and fear. Before he was summoned, he had heard son Wukong mention this matter. As a result, Monk Sha was deeply frightened. Even his eldest senior brother was summoned and successfully controlled. San Monk admitted that he was definitely not a match for Wang Kai. Moreover, not to mention son Wukong, even Zhu Beiji was obediently becoming Wang Kai's disciple. This proved that he was absolutely unable to defeat Wang Kai. Master, please accept me as your disciple. I'm willing to do anything for you. Bang. Suddenly, Monk Sha had no choice but to kneel down on one knee, clasped his fists, and begged again with a sincere face. Master, you can't just agree to his request. Pig knows Monk Sha well. He just wants to get out of danger temporarily. In the future, we don't know how to escape. Zhu Beiji suggested loudly from a distance. Whoosh! Hearing such words, Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked at Monk Sha suspiciously. Bastard! Second senior brother, you used to play tricks on Monk Sha. Now that things have come to this point, how can you kick him when he is down? You useless pig! When Monk Sha saw the change in Wang Kai's expression, he was instantly enraged. He immediately berated Zhu Beiji. Bullshit! It's winning. It's not incompetence. Zhu Beiji was also angry. He immediately waved his nine-toothed rake and stared at Monk Sha angrily. Ding! Do you think Monk Sha is afraid of you? I can fight you to a draw. Monk Sha roared angrily. He turned his hand and picked up the demon-subduing staff, ready to fight. However, in the end, the two did not fight. Both of them knew very well that even if they fought, the result would be a draw. In that case, there was no need to waste their strength to fight. Okay, you two don't need to quarrel. Monk Sha, I agree to accept you as my disciple. In the future, you will be the second junior fellow apprentice, and Zhu Beiji will be the eldest senior fellow apprentice. Wang Kai waved his hand and said with a rather speechless expression, Thank you, Master. I will do my best to protect you. Monk Sha was overjoyed when he heard that. He quickly threw the demon-subduing staff on the ground and cupped his fist to express his attitude. Second junior brother, take my rake. Buzz. Bang. Plop. Suddenly, before Monk Sha got up, Zhu Beiji had already taken the opportunity to attack him. With a swing of his rake, Monk Sha was directly knocked to the ground. F***CKU. Buzz. Ding. Monk Sha roared in pain. He immediately rolled over, picked up the demon-subduing staff, and started a fight with Zhu Beiji. I didn't expect Monk Sha to be so rude. Cough, cough. It seems that the journey to the west has made them very depressed. Wang Kai touched his nose and shook his head, finding it funny. Thinking about their respective experiences, it was obvious. Zhu Beiji became a great demon in the Galao village and scared the villagers. Monk Sha was even more powerful. He became a man-eating aquatic demon underwater. If he had not been enlightened later, he would have been even more arrogant. However, in Wang Kai's opinion, those enlightening were useless. It was nothing more than Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji agreeing to it, because they wanted to escape from the sea of suffering. In fact, there was still violence in their hearts. Are these two disciples of yours really okay? Mu Sanyang glanced at Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha with disdain. Then, she sneered with disdain. Of course it's fine. No matter how they look on the surface, they still have good intentions in their hearts. Everything they do and their current personalities are because they were forced to do so. Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand carelessly. Was he forced? Hearing this, Mu Sanyang was puzzled. Two such powerful cultivators, who could force them to do anything. Little did they know that the person who forced them was not in this world. Palace Master, we have arrived at the border of the Netherworld domain. There are many cultivators blocking us below. Should we force our way in? Suddenly, a mechanical voice appeared in Wang Kai's mind. Palace Master? Wang Kai squinted his eyes slightly. He did not care about the Netherworld domain. Instead, he asked in confusion, Who are you? Why do you call Binshao Palace Master? Palace Master, I am the spirit of the Buzhou Sky Palace. You are the owner of the Buzhou Sky Palace. Naturally, you should call me Palace Master. Swoosh. Upon hearing these words, Wang Kai finally came to a realization. He never expected that there would be an artifact spirit in Buzhou Sky Palace. Moreover, he had even become the Palace Master. There's no need to force our way in. Let's go to the border between the Alchemist Domain and the Tongtian Domain. Wang Kai activated his mind and smiled casually. Bastard, where did this ignorant brat come from? How dare you invade my Netherworld domain with such a flying Dharma treasure? Why don't you get down here and accept your death? However, as soon as Wang Kai gave the order, a roar rang in his ears. He immediately frowned, and black lines appeared on his forehead. Wait, there's no need to change our path. Chapter 735. Rumble. When the gates of Buzhou Sky Palace opened wide, close to 100 cultivators in black robes entered their eyes. The leader was a child who looked to be only 8 or 9 years old. He was wearing an eye-catching red robe, and there was a pungent smell of blood circulating around him. Compared to the other experts, the violent, demonic aura around him was different. It was extremely prominent. TSK, what a strong demonic aura, what a strong smell of blood. Are you trying to kill Binshao with your aura? Why are you staring at me? When Binshao robbed and preyed on the villagers, you weren't even born yet. Wang Kai sneered with disdain with his hands behind his back. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. It was just that the expressions of these shoujo were too uncomfortable. It was as if they were the only ones who were superior and looked down on all living things. Coupled with the lingering demonic aura and the pungent smell of blood, it really made people very uncomfortable. Especially Wang Kai. He couldn't stand seeing people who were better at bragging than him. Leave this flying magic treasure in your life, and I'll let you die in one piece. The leading child said faintly. His voice was incomparably young, but there was a sense of awe. Whoosh, whoosh. At the same time, nearly 100 cultivators in black robes all waved their hands and shot out streams of demonic aura. They spread out and surrounded Buzhou Sky Palace. There was no blind spot. You want the magic treasure, and you want your life. Little brother, don't go astray. Come, follow me in the future. I promise I'll teach you how to be a gentleman and be respected by all living things. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and said with a playful smile, Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Wang Kai and the others could naturally tell that this red-clothed child's true age was definitely over 3,000 years old. His cultivation realm was definitely not lower than the divine realm. The other cultivators were also in the divine realm. Wang Kai had never thought that there would be such a powerful cultivator in this borderland. Kill them all. Make sure their corpses are in good condition. Later, I will devour them one by one. The red-clothed child glanced indifferently at Wang Kai. After saying that, he floated down from the sky. It was as if he believed that Wang Kai and the others were dead for sure. This kind of strong confidence and decisive tone made the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitch. Kill, Wang. All of a sudden, the 100 or so experts waved their hands and channeled their demon chi. They transformed into ghosts with green faces and fangs. They swung their giant hammers and charged at Wang Kai and the others from all directions. Old pig, old sand, I'll leave them to the two of you. Remember to leave them alive. Later, Bin Xiao will teach them a lesson one by one. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled playfully. Hearing such a familiar command, Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha were speechless. They wondered what was so cool about the child's line. Little did they know that Wang Kai intended to do so. He was just returning an eye for an eye. Whoosh! Sure enough, as soon as he said that, the red-clothed child on the top of the mountain suddenly raised his head and stared coldly at Wang Kai. Rumble! Rumble! Then, the sky was suddenly covered by waves of dark demon chi. Wang Kai and the others were all shrouded in it. The ghost body waved its giant hammer and bombarded the devil chi with indiscriminate attacks at an extremely fast speed. How dare you go against the 13th son of the Acheron Manor? You deserve to die here today. Watch your attacks. Don't break their bodies. Don't worry. As long as you control your strength, the giant hammer made of demon chi will only hurt their divine souls and will not damage their bodies. I know that, so I have to remind you to control your strength. Otherwise, the 13th son will kill us all. Wang Kai, who was in the demon chi, was speechless when he heard those words. He looked at the giant hammer that was flying down and hitting his body, but he did not feel anything at all. With the invulnerable body, the hammer could not even get close to his body. On the other side, Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji were also waving their demon, subduing wands and nine-toothed rakes to turn the giant hammer into nothingness. Buzz! In the blink of an eye, as the demonic chi dissipated, Wang Kai and the rest stood in the air. Their expressions were extremely strange as they looked at them. It was strange. They had been fighting for a long time, but they did not cause any substantial damage. What were they doing? Moreover, they did not suffer any damage. Instead, they were smiling coldly as if they had already won. Master, are they all idiots? Zhu Beiji asked in a strange tone as he carried the nine-toothed rake. Beside him, Monk Sha nodded in agreement. Even if they are not idiots, they are definitely idiots. Although we can't see through your cultivation, this demon pig and the pink-faced kid are both at the peak of the 9th grade of the heavenly Tao realm. Ha! They don't think that we can't defeat them, right? It's normal. After all, we are only at the heavenly reversal realm. It's normal for them to look down on us. If they don't look down on us, how can they succeed? Those cultivators were all laughing and chatting with each other. Their casual manner made Wang Kai and the others even more dumbfounded. Did they really meet an idiot? Once the demon chi enters your body, your cultivation will be restricted regardless of your cultivation realm. You can use the power of heaven and see if you can use it. The red-clothed kid suddenly sneered. Whoosh! Hearing that, Wang Kai frowned and secretly used the power of heaven, but he did not find anything strange. Monk Sha and Zhu Beiji, who were standing beside him, were the same. Their expressions were strange. Were your continuous attacks just now, just to show off? The real attack was the demon chi that filled the air just now? Wang Kai touched his nose and asked in surprise. Of course. Otherwise, how can we, who are only at the heavenly reversal realm, dare to attack someone at the heavenly Tao realm? Now, you shouldn't be able to use the power of heaven, right? Ha ha ha. The 100 or so experts burst into laughter. Master, old pig doesn't want to fight with them anymore. I feel that they are all idiots. Zhu Beiji carried the nine-toothed rake and snorted speechlessly. Monk Sha also grinned and looked at those experts with extreme disgust. In his heart, he also didn't want to fight with them. Wang Kai couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. The reason why he was fine was because of his impenetrable body. The demon chi couldn't penetrate his body at all. As for Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha, the reason why they were fine was probably because of the difference in strength. One must know that the power of heaven that they possessed now was only converted from the Earth Fiend 36 transformations. The essence of their power didn't belong to this world. Old pig, old sand, quickly send them flying. Ben Shao suddenly doesn't want to teach them a lesson. It's useless to teach these idiots a lesson. Wang Kai waved his hand and said impatiently. Chapter 736. Let old pig do all the hard work. Zhu Beiji snorted in dissatisfaction. He turned to carry the nine-toothed rake and stared at those cultivators angrily. Did you hear that? When you go to hell, when the king of hell asks you how you died, remember to say my master's name, Wang Kai. Get lost. Buzz. Rumble. In an instant, under Zhu Beiji's rake, those cultivators were all blown into pieces, turning into a rain of snow and sprinkling down from the sky. In one move, they were all wiped out. No one was left alive. It could be seen how aggrieved Zhu Beiji was. He had always been lazy. Even if it was a fight, he found it troublesome. Second master, cough cough, senior brother, Amit Ba, don't you think you were a little too heavy-handed? Monk Sha frowned and said with an unbearable expression, F*CKU. Too heavy-handed? Are you a Buddhist cultivator now? You are now a pampered young master. Okay? Don't F*King Amit with old pig. F*King your ass. Zhu Beiji snorted impatiently. You, master, look at how heavy-handed he is. Sooner or later, he will be burned by the fire of karma. Monk Sha could only look at Wang Kai in anger. However, Wang Kai's words made Monk Sha dumbfounded on the spot. Sha Wujing, you dress so fashionably. It is true that you are kind-hearted, but after all, you are not a Buddhist cultivator now. So what Wuning said is right. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with a playful expression. Swish. Hearing this, Sha Wujing was extremely helpless for a moment. He couldn't help but glance at those cultivators who had turned into a rain of blood. He murmured in his heart, damn it, I was wrong. If I knew that master likes this, I would have taken a lead just now. If such words were heard by Wang Kai and the others, who knew what they would think? Little brat, you must be very surprised now, right? Wang Kai frowned. His eyes were filled with mockery as he looked down. He looked at the red-clothed child who was raising his head and allowing the blood rain to fall on his face. He looked as if he had lost his mind. Not bad at all. You guys are really interesting and strong. So strong that this young master can't stop himself. I can't wait to swallow all of you right now. Become the source of this young master's power. Wang. Suddenly, the red-clothed child sneered. He stuck out his tongue and swallowed the blood at the corner of his mouth. A bloody light flickered in his eyes. He's a little weird, Zhu Beiji said with a cold look on his face as he carried the nine-toothed rake. I'll leave this monster to old Sha. Whoosh. In an instant, Sand Monk, who was eager to fight, waved the demon-subduing staff and rushed down from the sky, heading straight for the red-clothed child. Let's not fight for now. I hope you can run faster. Wang. Crack. Rumble. However, when old Sha's demon-subduing staff smashed down, the red-clothed child's figure had already disappeared, leaving behind half of the mountain peak that Sand Monk had destroyed. a divine realm cultivator from the netherworld underworld, had actually dodged the attack of a peak ninth grade heavenly Tao expert. Such a scene truly caused Wang Kai to be greatly astonished. Have they prepared an escape route in advance? Haha, that's interesting. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled with an indifferent expression. Being able to escape from the red-clothed child who called himself the 13th young master smoothly. This proved that they had already chosen an escape route from the moment they started to block him. Moreover, only the 13th young master could escape from his escape route. The rest of the cultivators were already buried here. Master, Xiao Wujing was inwardly annoyed when he saw this. He originally wanted to show off, but now he had completely let his opponent escape. Wouldn't this be embarrassing for him? What about you? As the second young master, you will always be inferior to the eldest young master. Otherwise, why didn't you become the eldest young master? Accept your fate. Second junior brother. Zhu Beiji chuckled, adding insult to injury. You, *T. You can become the eldest senior brother because you came earlier than old Sha. Sha Wujing immediately retorted in dissatisfaction. What? You still dare to not accept it? Then let's fight. Let's fight. Do you think old Sha is afraid of you? You useless pig. F*CK. You're the useless one. You're the useless one. Clang. Rumble. Rumble. In an instant, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing began to fight in the sky. They shattered the mountains and caused the rivers to flow in reverse. The power was as if the sky was falling and the earth was cracking. It was really frightening. I didn't expect your two disciples to be so powerful. Mu Sanyang's beautiful eyes blinked slightly, and her tone was filled with surprise. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard this. They were indeed powerful, but they were still far from being able to dominate Tianzhou. Who knew what realm was above the heavenly Tao realm? It seemed that he had to find a way for them to break through their current realm. With this thought in mind, Wang Kai stopped paying attention to their fight. He stepped into the air with his hands behind his back and secretly communicated with the system. Is there a way for Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing to break through in this world? Under the premise that there is no need to convert their strength. Host, there's a way. However, the system will not help others. After hearing the notification, Wang Kai sighed helplessly. He thought to himself that the system could only help him. If he wanted to help Sha Wujing and Zhu Beiji, he had to rely on other methods. Otherwise, their strength was completely different from that of this world. It was impossible for them to break through to the next realm. Are we going to the Netherworld realm or the Tongtian realm? Mu Sanyang was speechless when she saw Wang Kai standing there in a daze. It was obvious that he did not know how to use the rank 9 Imperial weapon. That was why he went in the wrong direction and came here. Now that he was here, he could save his face, but he did not say anything. Could it be that he was going to stay here forever? Wang Kai shrugged and said with a casual smile, Yes, I won't go to the Yellow Springs domain for the time being. If I go to that trash place, I'll scare the entire Yellow Springs domain into smithereens. So, for the sake of everyone's safety, I'll go to the border between the Alchemist domain and the realm of Tongtian. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Kai shouted at Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing, who were fighting under Mu Sanyang's disdainful gaze. You two, stop fighting. Come back quickly. We have to go and show off. Oomph. I'll spare your life. For the sake of my master, I'll spare your life too. Swoosh. In the blink of an eye, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing stopped fighting. They snorted coldly and flew into the Buzhou Sky Palace. Chapter 737. At the border of the Alchemist domain, which was the border between the realm of Tongtian and the realm of Tongtian, there were mountain ranges that were connected to each other. Clouds and mist were faintly discernible, making this place look like a fairyland. After flying for more than half an hour in the Buzhou Sky Palace, they arrived here. Along the way, because they were flying at high altitudes and extremely fast, they didn't attract any attention. Why don't you dare to kill me? Inside the Buzhou Sky Palace, Nailaning Xiong, who had just woken up, shouted at Wang Kai with a fierce expression. Especially when he saw that Nailan Xiuyang was unconscious. He regretted robbing Wang Kai's warship, but at the same time, his hatred for Wang Kai became even stronger. But there was no medicine for regret in this world. If you did something wrong, you had to pay the price. Any reason and justice would have nothing to do with you after you've done something wrong. If you didn't want to be treated like this, why did you take the initiative to provoke Wang Kai? It seems that you haven't been beaten enough. Ben Xiao doesn't dare to kill you. Ben Xiao disdains to kill you because you are trash. Forget about the robbery. You actually dared to rob Ben Xiao's warship. You did something wrong, but you don't have the courage to bear the consequences. Wang Kai shrugged and glanced at him with disdain. If it weren't for Nailan Xiuyang's good character, why would he talk nonsense with him? Not killing them was already an act of mercy. To Wang Kai, it was normal to be killed after failing to rob. I dare to bear the consequences. As long as you let Xiuyang go, I will do anything you want me to do, even if you want my life. Nailan Xiong shouted with an ashen face. Hearing this, Wang Kai curled his lips in disdain and said with a contemptuous smile, "Is there such a good thing in this world? Since you did something wrong and provoked Ben Xiao, how to deal with you will naturally be decided by Ben Xiao. May I ask, what qualifications do you have to negotiate with Ben Xiao? Are you an idiot?" You! Nailan Xiong's face suddenly stiffened, and his heart became more and more regretful. Of all people to mess with, he just had to mess with Wang Kai. At first, he thought that with the Nailan family status, everyone in the alchemist domain would give them some face. Unfortunately, he ran into Wang Kai. He didn't care about the madman from the Nailan family at all. "Master, why are you talking nonsense with him? Trash like him who wants to pretend to be a bandit? Just throw him down to his death." Zhu Beiji snorted impatiently. Hearing this, Monk Shan nodded in agreement. Although I was not present, I also heard it clearly. Not only did they fail to rob others, but they were also tied up. But they still acted so righteously. They should be thrown away. They originally thought that it was Wang Kai who bullied them, but now it seemed that it was not the case. If they had not taken a fancy to Wang Kai's warship, the two would not have had any interaction at all. After all, the warship was flying at such a fast speed. If it was not intentionally obstructed, who would stop to greet it? "What do you want to let us go?" Nailan Xiong lowered his head in defeat. Under Wang Kai's strength, he could only choose to submit. It was only now that he realized that it was useless to provoke Wang Kai. It would only lead to worse results. "Originally, I wanted to get your sister in a bed and play with her for a few days before killing her. At that time, you will also be buried together with her. After all, this young master is an ambitious and ruthless person who is admired by tens of thousands of people." Wang Kai squinted his eyes and pretended to be extremely fierce with a smile. "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the level 8 Heavenly Path Realm. You, bastard, bastard." However, such words directly aroused Nailan Xiong's anger. He stared at Wang Kai as if his heart and lungs were being torn apart. His eyeballs were about to pop out. "I say, you brat, do you really want to die? Can't you see that my master is bragging?" Zhu Beiji immediately stood up, waved the nine-toothed rake, and scolded with dissatisfaction. Seeing this, Monk Sha also stood up, fearing that he would fall behind Zhu Beiji. He did not want to be inferior in Wang Kai's heart. Bragging? Nailan Xiong was stunned when he heard this. He stared blankly at Wang Kai, who was embarrassed. For a moment, he was speechless. The corner of his mouth twitched as he said, "I have never seen such a powerful cultivator bragging. Now you see it, right? Master's bragging ability is incisive. It can be said that Master is the ancestor of bragging since he was born." Zhu Beiji praised with admiration. "That's right, Master's bragging. Cough, cough, bragging skill is the best." Monk Sha quickly echoed from the side. However, when Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha looked at Wang Kai, they suddenly found that Wang Kai's face was extremely ugly. He was gritting his teeth. He was obviously angry. F***CK. Did I screw it up? Master, don't you like to be praised? Zhu Beiji and Monk Sha were both secretly trembling in their hearts. They each sat in a corner gloomily. Wuning, Wujing, the two of you have to remember in the future that you should praise your master, but you can't go overboard. As a person, you have to learn to keep a low profile. How can your master keep a low profile in the future after being bragged so much by the two of you? Wang Kai sighed and said while shaking his head, "Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points." Low profile? Has he ever been low profile? He has always been high profile. Okay? Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing were both speechless in their hearts, but they could only smile and nod their heads repeatedly. They really had no choice. If they said anything wrong, they would definitely be taught a lesson by Wang Kai. "Young Master Kai, why don't we enter the Tongtian domain? Why are we stopping here? Could it be that you really want to wait for the experts of the Nalan family to come?" Mu Sanyang frowned, her beautiful eyes full of disbelief. At first, she thought that Wang Kai was just saying it casually to save face. But now, they were simply waiting for a fight here. You actually contacted the Nalan family? Nalan Ingxiong was shocked when he heard this. He looked at Wang Kai with a shocked expression. He couldn't believe that he actually dared to go against the Nalan family. Is he not afraid of death? Or is he really so strong that the Nalan family can't deal with him? That's impossible, right? Bin Xiao said before that he wanted to see how awesome your Nalan family is. Since that's the case, he naturally has to do what he said. People still need to be honest and keep their promises. That's the standard of being a person. You have to learn from Bin Xiao in the future. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have gained 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Looking at Wang Kai's pretentious nonchalance and the words he said, it was hard for them to accept it. For a moment, everyone felt like covering their faces. Chapter 738. Ha ha ha, you're courting death. You're courting death. You can't blame anyone else. Suddenly, Nalan Ingxiong laughed out loud. He despised Wang Kai's idiotic behavior to the extreme. Because of this, Nalan Ingxiong was no longer worried. As long as the Nalan family came, Wang Kai would definitely die. At that time, he and Nalan Shuiyang would be able to escape safely. Although Nalan Ingxiong regretted that he would lose the qualification to win the alchemy conference, there was no other way. All he wanted was to kill Wang Kai. Then, all his anger would vanish. Bin Xiao has been cultivating for hundreds of millions of years. He doesn't know how to write the word death. I advise you not to have too much hope, lest you fall into a deep abyss. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You've received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Brag. Brag to your heart's content. Your arrogance will let you know what death is. The Nalan family will be the last mentor in your life. Nalan Ingxiong laughed heartily. He was so excited that he looked like he was going crazy. Why are you laughing at your mother's ass? Get lost. Buzz. Slap. In an instant, Wang Kai shouted and waved his hand. A few slaps landed on Nalan Ingxiong's face. Nalan Ingxiong spat out blood and rolled a few times. He even spat out a few teeth. You deserve it. If I were Old Pig, I would have killed you with my rake. You're so annoying. Zhu Beiji snorted with disdain. Not to mention Wang Kai and Zhu Beiji, who were annoyed by Nalan Ingxiong. Even the honest monk Sha and Third Lady Mu, who never cared about anything, were annoyed by him. He didn't look like the son of the Nalan family. He was like a mad dog, the kind that was intoxicated by success. He must have eaten a mad dog, Monk Sha said disdainfully. Aha! Wang Kai was stunned by his words. He couldn't help but laugh and gave Monk Sha a thumbs up. He's so good at cursing. Cough, you'll die miserably. Definitely. Even if you're a heavenly Dao realm expert, you'll die here. Moreover, no alchemist in the alchemist domain will dare to save your life. Nalan Ingxiong got up and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. He sneered crazily. Sigh, you'd better go to sleep first. If this young master looks at you, he won't be able to hold himself back and will kill you. Wang Kai shook his head, speechlessly waving his hand to slap her. Bang! Plop! Suddenly, with a slap, Nalan Ingxiong was smashed to the ground. Master, Zhu Beiji. He looked down on Nalan Ingxiong. After all, Nalan Ingxiong had threatened to kill him when he was driving the warship. If killing him could solve the problem, this young master would have killed him long ago. You need to know that sometimes not killing him can make him suffer more than killing him. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled with a rather indifferent expression. Amipa, Master, do you want to wait for the Nalan family to arrive and then kill all of them in front of him and let him fall into the abyss? Monk Sha put his palms together and said with an unbearable expression. If that was the case, Wang Kai's methods were simply too ruthless. This method was indeed more ruthless than killing Nalan Ingxiong. The Nalan family that had filled Nalan Ingxiong with hope had rushed over from the brink of death, but had been easily exterminated. It was easy to imagine the drastic difference between them. Master, he's pretending to be a monk again. Do you want me to teach him a lesson? Zhu Beiji stared at Nalan Ingxiong and seized the opportunity. Whoosh! Hearing this, Monk Sha's face suddenly stiffened. He put down his hands and said coldly, Second, Senior brother, I can't erase my habits as quickly as you. Oh, hee. You mean I'm a fence-sitter? Aren't you? Why don't you shout that you don't want to follow Master? Zhu Beiji waved his nine-toothed rake and walked toward Monk Sha. Monk Sha was furious. If he dared to say that, he wouldn't follow Wang Kai now. Of course, Monk Sha didn't want to go back to the original world. How good was it in this world? He didn't need to eat meat and pray to Buddha. He could live a carefree life. But more importantly, Monk Sha didn't like to be bound. Therefore, he had always been reluctant to follow Wang Kai. In the past, wasn't it because he was controlled by someone and made a mistake that he was expelled from the heaven realm and became a river demon? Now, Monk Sha didn't want to repeat the same mistake. Who knew what he would do wrong and be punished by Wang Kai again? All right, stop fooling around. Also, you don't have to worry. Bin Xiao is a wise king. Even if you make a mistake, Bin Xiao won't treat you that way. Well, the premise is that you don't fight with Bin Xiao for a beauty and don't betray Bin Xiao. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled calmly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 9th stage Heavenly Dao Realm. Host, Wang Kai Occupation, Heavenly Martial Artist Realm. 9th stage Heavenly Dao Technique. Astronomical Phenomenon Heavenly Martial Technique. Extermination Thunder Fireblade. Chi Lock Step. Undying Shield. Lightning Speed Blade Equipment. Ever-Changing Fan. Heavenly Saber. Heavenly Crown. Heavenly Armor. Heavenly Palace Power of Heaven. Level 9 Astral Origin Points. 0 Physique. Invulnerable Protector Spirit Beasts. None Bragging Points. 75,000 Experience. 050000000. Hearing the notification, Wang Kai casually glanced at it and urged his mind to close it. He smiled indifferently in his heart. It's just another 1 million experience points. It's just another bragging. What's the big deal? Bin Xiao is a bragging god who can make the heavens collapse and the earth rend. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. Yes, Master, Wu Jing understands. Although Monk Sha didn't believe it, he still maintained a respectful expression on his face. As for the wise king that Wang Kai mentioned, not betraying him was reasonable, but not snatching women, what kind of rule was this? How could there be a wise monarch who would set such a rule? Don't worry, old Sha. It's just a woman. You might not know, but I, old Zhu, was rewarded with thousands of beauties by my master. TSK, Those few days in the cave were very happy. But cough cough, it was also very tiring. Zhu Beiji smiled proudly. Whoosh! Hearing this, the corner of Monk Sha's mouth suddenly twitched. His forehead was full of black lines as he stared at Zhu Beiji and snorted coldly. I don't like women. Don't compare me with you. Ahead is the palace where hero Nailin and Nailin Shuiyang were kidnapped. Suddenly, a voice rang out from afar, causing the expressions of Wang Kai and the others to shake. Is it finally here? He could no longer bear the mental blow and torture. The Nailin family is awesome. Tens of thousands of troops came to show off, but instead of showing off, they were killed. Nailin Xiong is going crazy. Good poem, good poem. Ha ha. Wang Kai placed his hands behind his back and suddenly shook his head and laughed loudly. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. This is considered a good poem? Zhu Beiji, Shao Wujing, and Mu Sanyang's lips twitched when they heard this. They were speechless at Wang Kai's impromptu poem. Shut up. You shut up. You shut up. Nailin Xiong's face turned red. He hugged his head and curled up his body. He lost his balance and fell from the sky. Go to hell. You trash. Scum. Bang. Buzz. In an instant, Wang Kai turned his hand and was about to slap Nailin Xiong. However, a palm print came down and, just as it was about to touch Nailin Xiong, it suddenly disappeared. At the same time, Nailin Xiong's figure disappeared. Little friend, where it's possible to make mistakes, one should spare them. Buzz. Following the sound of an aged voice, the Nailin family's warship suddenly disappeared. The practitioners on the ground also disappeared along with it. During this period, there was no trace of Wang Kai. Oh no, Nailin Shuiyang has disappeared. Suddenly, Mu Sanyang, who was taking care of Nailin Shuiyang in the Buzhou Sky Palace, screamed. This caused Wang Kai's eyebrows to furrow fiercely as he coldly laughed. I wonder which shameless bastard dares to provoke this young master. Wu Junyun from the Heavenly Martial Divine Palace. Buzz. As the old voice sounded again, Wang Kai still could not find any trace of him. His cultivation was definitely above the Heavenly Dao realm. Even Zhu Beiji and Shao Wujing could not find anything strange. Heavenly Martial Divine Palace. Wu Junyun, Ben Shao will remember you. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and smiled coldly. However, there was no reply from the old voice in the surrounding void. At the same time, on a mountain peak thousands of miles away, the void was torn apart. The Nailin family's warship and the cultivators on it appeared. Thank you, Senior Wu, for saving us. The Nailin family will remember this kindness. Many elders of the Nailin family cupped their hands and thanked a figure sitting cross-legged on the mountain peak. There's no need for that. 7,000 years ago, the old man owed the Nailin family a favor. Today, he has repaid it. You may leave. The white-haired old man waved his hand in a tone that was filled with the vicissitudes of life. His eyes, however, looked in the direction of Wang Kai. Is it a good or bad thing to provoke him? Should I kill him to prevent future troubles? Or should I not kill him? On the mountain peak, the old man's mutterings reverberated, and his figure had already disappeared. Master, the expert just now, was very strong. Zhu Beiji might not be a match for him. He should have reached senior brother's cultivation. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing looked at each other with fear in their eyes. The senior brother they were talking about was undoubtedly Sun Wukong. If that's the case, Sun Wukong has surpassed the shackles of the Heavenly Dao and reached a higher realm? Haha, as expected of the great sage, heaven's equal. Impressive. Wang Kai squinted his eyes and sneered inwardly. Wang Kai was naturally extremely displeased with the sudden appearance of an inexplicable expert who had disrupted his plans. However, there was nothing he could do. Do you have a way to break through the shackles of the Heavenly Dao realm? Wang Kai asked with anticipation. If Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing could reach that level, they would definitely be his greatest help. Of course, Wang Kai was also confident. However, there were times when one person alone couldn't solve anything. After all, he was facing the Sky Martial Divine Palace, one of the top 3 forces in the Tianzhou region. It's impossible in the Tianzhou region. Damn it. I originally thought that Zhu Beiji's cultivation would be enough to dominate the Tianzhou region. Who knew that there would be someone who could stand shoulder to shoulder with the horse protector? Zhu Beiji snorted in dissatisfaction. Xiao Wujing's face was also ugly. Chapter 740. Was it impossible to break through the shackles of the heavenly Dao realm in Tianzhou? Wang Kai frowned slightly when he heard this. He stared at Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing. After thinking for a while, he said, "That's easy. I will temporarily send you back to your original world. You just need to make the breakthrough quickly." Swoosh. Hearing this, Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing's expressions changed. They looked at each other and quickly shook their heads to refuse. "No, master. You don't know that if we go back like this, we'll be taught a lesson by that damn horse protector. Moreover, it's not that easy to break through the original realm. At least, we need to reach the Western Paradise and achieve enlightenment." Zhu Beiji scratched his head and said in distress, "After reaching the Western Paradise and achieving enlightenment. Damn, you guys haven't finished collecting scriptures?" Ben Xiao remembers that the last time I summoned Sun Wukong, he was already the victorious fighting Buddha. Wang Kai frowned and said with a surprised expression, "Victorious fighting Buddha?" Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing looked at each other and shook their heads. They said doubtfully, "That's impossible. The horse protector you summoned is a fake? It shouldn't be." Eldest senior brother mentioned this before. He even said that he met the black and white impermanence. Swoosh. As soon as these words came out, Wang Kai suddenly understood. It turned out that the one he summoned in the Sky Reaching School was Sun Wukong, who had finished collecting scriptures. He was given the title of Victorious Fighting Buddha by Tathagata. And the Sun Wukong he summoned in the Soul Break Valley in the 8 Desolations was the same as Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing. They were still collecting scriptures. They hadn't achieved enlightenment. If that's the case, the Sun Wukong, after achieving enlightenment, has surpassed the heavenly Tao. Then, can't Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing do the same? What if I summon them after achieving enlightenment? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. Moreover, the victorious fighting Buddha still remembered that he had summoned him before. This proved that he had summoned a Sun Wukong twice. It was just that the time and space were different. However, the memories were still retained. Even if he summoned Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing after achieving enlightenment, they still had the memories of the present. Since that was the case, why not? You two go back for now. Master will let you come back later. Wang Kai shrugged and said with a playful smile. Wang, no, Master. F***CK. I haven't had enough. In an instant, under Wang Kai's command, Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing both disappeared and returned to their previous world. Great summoning, cleansing altar emissary, Zhu Beiji. Great summoning technique, golden arhat, Xiao Wujing. Congratulations to the host for successfully activating the summoning function. A total of 20,000 bragging points have been consumed. Hearing the prompt, the corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched fiercely. He secretly thought that the bragging points required to summon Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing were quite high. He had even surpassed Sun Wukong. However, when he thought about it, it made sense. When he summoned Sun Wukong last time, he didn't say that he was going to summon the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong. It just so happened that the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong, was summoned. Hence, the bragging points were not high. But now, it was Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing who were achieving enlightenment. Each of them required 10,000 bragging points. If he summoned Sun Wukong, who was achieving enlightenment, how much would it cost? Master, Zhu Beiji misses you so much. Master, Zhu Beiji misses you too. Patter. Ding. All of a sudden, Zhu Beiji and Xiao Wujing, who who were dressed in Buddhist robes, took off their Buddhist robes that were glittering with jewels. Even the prayer beads in their hands were thrown far away. They stared at Wang Kai with a longing look as if they had suffered a great grievance. Wang Kai felt goosebumps all over his body. It seems that the two of you still remember. Wang Kai nodded gently and smiled. Of course we remember. Just now, this place has become our nightmare for more than 10 years. After obtaining the Western scripture, we have to continue to be monks, abstaining from meat, and chanting Buddhist scriptures all day long. Zhu Beiji is better as he can eat something good. But I can't even see a woman, let alone eat. Sha Wujing cried. Bullsh asterisk T, Sha. What did you start to like women? Weren't you disdainful of women in the past? Zhu Beiji scolded with a dark face. You're the one who's bullsh asterisk ting. It's not that I'm disdainful. It's just that I didn't want to talk about it back then. Sha Wujing snorted coldly. Ugh, they're already F asterisk King Buddhas, but they're still acting like this. It seems that the serious Buddha was just a facade. They're just pretending to be serious. Wang Kai shook his head and was speechless. Master, the cultivation of the expert from before is not as high as ours. That's right. They're far from it. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing said with a proud expression. The corner of Wang Kai's mouth twitched when he heard that. He found it strange. After achieving enlightenment, what cultivation level would they be in Tianzhou? Convert your strength and see what cultivation level you're in. Wang Kai asked curiously as he squinted his eyes. There's no need to convert. In the way of the heavens, the cultivation level of any world is the same. Zhu Beiji said as he took out the nine-toothed rake and placed it on his shoulder. That's right. After surpassing the way of the heavens, the cultivation level is called the 10-star realm. The power that we seek is also the astral source from the extraterritorial starry sky. Sha Wujing said, Astral source. Extraterritorial starry sky. 10-star realm. Wang Kai was startled when he heard this. He hurriedly urged his mind to open the system page he belonged to. Host. Wang Kai profession. Heavenly martial artist cultivation level. Level 9 Heavenly Path technique. Lawful embodiment of heaven and earth heavenly martial technique. Extermination thunder fire blade. Airlock step. Immortal shield. Swift blade equipment. Shape-shifting fan. Heavenly blade. Heavenly crown. Heavenly armor. Bujo heavenly palace heavenly power. Level 9 astral source points. 0 physique. Invulnerable guardian beasts. None bragging points. 58,000 experience. 3000005000000 inch could it be that the star source points recorded on it are what the 10-star realm needs? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself with a rather surprised expression. What are the 10-star realms? Sha Wujing frowned and said, We only know the levels of the first 4 stars. Starting from the first star, there are astral sources, astral guards, astral generals, and astral lords. We're in the second star, the astral guards. Zhu Beiji snorted angrily and said, Humph, that damn horse protector is much stronger than us. He's in the 4th level, the Star Lord. I heard that he often goes to the extraterritorial starry sky and fights nonstop. He's about to reach the 5th level. The first level was the astral source realm. The second level was the Star Guard realm. The third level was the Star General realm. The 4th level was the Star Lord realm. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows slightly when he heard this, and the corners of his mouth could not help but curl into an inexplicable smile. Now that he knew what he was about to face, everything was naturally easy to discuss. What level is Wu Junyin from the Heavenly Martial Palace? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and asked with a mocking smile. Him? He's just an astral source. He'll die with a single blow, Zhu Beiji said with disdain. Chapter 741. Is he just a first-star realm cultivator? Wang Kai smiled curiously when he heard this. He was only 1 cultivation level higher than Wang Kai, but the gap between them was so great that Wang Kai could not even detect his presence. 10-star realm. Looks like Ben Xiao needs to brag more. Sigh. He could have broken through by just bragging. but Bin Xiao likes to train hard. What a waste. Wang Kai shrugged and laughed in his heart. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Master, those who destroyed Windflower City and took away Sky Reaching School were all 10-star realm cultivators. Moreover, more than 5 of them have surpassed the Star Guard realm. Zhu Beiji suddenly said seriously. Star Guards who had surpassed the 2nd-star realm. More than 5 of them. Even Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing didn't know their exact cultivation level. 10-star realm. I didn't expect there to be such a cultivation level in Tianzhou. Mu Sanyang was stunned. She had thought that the Heavenly Path realm was the peak of Tianzhou. Who would have thought that there were even stronger existences above it? Actually, Mu Sanyang had been suspicious since Wu Junyuan appeared. After all, Wang Kai and the others were at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Path realm. Their heavenly powers were also at the top level. Even so, they still couldn't stop Wu Junyuan. They couldn't even find him. Now that she had received confirmation, Mu Sanyang suddenly felt that she was a little ignorant. It wasn't that there weren't stronger realms in Tianzhou. It was just that very few people knew about them. It's just the 10-star realm. Back when Bin Xiao dominated the extraterritorial region, no one in Tianzhou could reach this level. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Wang Kai waved his hand and smiled casually. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1,000,000 experience and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 1st grade Celestial Origin realm. Congratulations to the host for successfully breaking through to the 10-star realm. Heavenly powers have transformed into star powers. Congratulations to the host for successfully obtaining star powers. You have reached star powers, level 1. Congratulations to the host for successfully becoming a star martial artist. The reward is 10 star source points. Host, you can use star source points to exchange for experience. 1 star source point can be exchanged for 10,000 experience. Host, Wang Kai profession, Star Warrior Realm, Grade 1 Astral Source Star Magic, None Star Technique, None Equipment, Ever-Changing Fan Star Power, Level 1 Star Source Points, 10 Physique, Invulnerable Guardian Spirit Beast, None Bragging Points, 60,000 Experience, 05000000. Hearing the series of notifications and the system page that appeared in front of him, Wang Kai glanced at it and couldn't help but grin. All of the Daos, Heavenly Martial Arts, and Heavenly Martial Weapons disappeared. It was not qualified to be recorded by the system. They were replaced by Star Techniques, and Star Warriors. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and thought to himself, this breakthrough is different from the previous ones. Everything has changed. How strong is the 10th star realm in the starry sky? Just like what Zhu Beiji said, Sun Wukong went to the starry sky to cultivate when he had nothing to do in that case. Those powerhouses who had reached the 10th star realm in Tianzhou had probably gone to the starry sky too. Otherwise, how could there be star source in Tianzhou, where heavenly power existed? Without star source, how could one reach the 10th star realm? Interesting. Wang Kai shrugged and smiled playfully. Then, he used his mind to close the system page. Exchange star source points for experience. Congratulations to the host for successfully exchanging 100,000 experience points. A total of 10 star source points were used. The corners of Wang Kai's mouth involuntarily twitched when he heard the notification. 1 star source point could only be exchanged for 10,000 experience points. Based on the amount of experience he currently needed for a breakthrough, he would need 100 star source points. How do I obtain star source points? Host, you will obtain 10 star source points every time you break through to the next realm. You can also obtain them by killing powerhouses of the 10th star realm. The number of star source points obtained will depend on the realm of the killed powerhouse. Buzz. If you kill a person of the same realm, you will obtain 100 star source points. If you kill a person of a higher realm, you will obtain 200 star source points. If you kill a person of 2 higher realms, you will obtain 300 star source points, and so on. As the system notification appeared in front of him, Wang Kai glanced at it and suddenly understood. In that case, if I can only obtain 10 Star Source points for breaking through to the next realm, I might as well kill someone. Wang Kai shrugged and pursed his lips speechlessly. 100 Star Source points were equivalent to 1 million experience points. It was no different from bragging. Sai, forget it. Ben Xiao is the devil of the world and has killed countless people. If you really want to calculate, I'm afraid he can even cover the sky and not even fit the earth. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed, pretending to have experienced the vicissitudes of life. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have obtained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Master, what's wrong? Hearing Wang Kai's sudden boast, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing both felt that it was somewhat abrupt. It's nothing. Ben Xiao is just lamenting and reminiscing about the memories of turning into a devil and killing people. Wang Kai waved his hand and smiled, pretending to be nostalgic. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have obtained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. To be able to brag to such an extent, he was really the only one in the world. Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing glanced at each other, secretly feeling admiration in their hearts. Young friend, I'm sorry. Your existence is too dangerous. Therefore, I can only come here to kill you, to prevent you from harming the Sky Martial Divine Palace in the future when you grow up. Buzz. As an old voice sounded, an old man in a gray robe appeared in front of the Buzhou Sky Palace. He had his hands behind his back and looked at Wang Kai and the others with a face full of vicissitudes. Originally, Wu Junyun could have left after saving the Nailin family. However, when he thought of Wang Kai, he panicked. Therefore, Wu Junyun had no choice but to come here and kill Wang Kai to prevent any future troubles. Old man, isn't it a little late for you to come back now? Wang Kai was stunned. He rubbed his nose and smiled curiously. It's not late at all. Master, you don't know. He has lived long enough and wants to die early. Zhu Beiji laughed as he carried the 9-toothed rake. Why did you come back? Once you come back, you will never be able to leave. Do you know that? Stupid C***. Sha Wujing snorted with disdain. Swoosh! Faced with Wang Kai and the other two's mockery, Wu Junyun was stunned. Where do they get their courage and guts from? How do they talk to me like that? Previously, he couldn't even catch the trace of his aura. They couldn't do anything when I saved the Nailin family. But now they said that I can't leave? Young friend, you're quite interesting. Let this old man see just what kind of ability you have. Wu Junyun stroked his beard and smiled proudly. Chapter 742. Poke the sect leader of the Sky Sect. Hearing this, Wu Junyun's face turned livid. He clenched his teeth and roared, Bastard! Are you toying with old man? Oh yeah, Ben Xiao is toying with you. What can you do? If you don't have the strength, stop acting tough and get beaten up. Why bother? Wang Kai shrugged and smiled disdainfully. Whoosh! Hearing this, Wu Junyun held his breath. He had never imagined that the young man before him would be so despicable and infuriating. You're at the first level of the Celestial Source Realm, right? Sai, what a pity. There's no benefit in killing you. How about this? Follow Ben Xiao for now and be his guard. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. No matter what, Wu Junyun was a Celestial Source Realm expert from the Sky Martial Divine Palace. His status must be extremely high. Moreover, killing Wu Junyun, who was one level lower than him, would not give him any system rewards. Since that was the case, he might as well keep him as a bodyguard. With his status in the Sky Martial Divine Palace, he would be able to solve many unnecessary problems. You want this old man to be your guard? Die. Wong. Whoosh. Suddenly, Wu Junyun let out a furious roar. Filled with rage, he directly attacked Wang Kai with all his might. What are you doing? Why are you so agitated? What are you trying to do? Wang Kai shrugged and waved his hand casually. Pa! Bang! Wah! In an instant, Wu Junyun suffered a heavy blow and was sent flying back while vomiting blood. Cough, cough. Kill me. Not only did I fail to kill you, I was killed instead. This old man is willing to die, Wu Junyun said as he clutched his chest and coughed up blood. Just Wang Kai alone had a cultivation that surpassed his. Behind him, there were two other powerful experts. They would definitely be defeated in this battle. Rather than being humiliated, why not just die? That would be more satisfying. Didn't Ben Shao say it just now? I want you to be Ben Shao's personal guard. Although there's no reward, at least you can act tough. You know, in the Tian show, no one dares to not give face to Ben Shao. Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and looked very proud. Congratulations to the host for successfully bragging. You have received 1 million experience and 1,000 bragging points. A warrior prefers death to humiliation. Wu Junyun scolded sternly. Oh my God, since you've learned how to take advantage of me, then I won't kill you. I'll humiliate you. Old pig, old Shah. The two of you go and strip him of his clothes. After that, hang him on the gate of Buzhou Sky Palace and leave behind a note from Wu Junyun of Sky Martial Divine Palace. Whoosh! Wu Junyun's face froze when he heard this. Then, his expression changed drastically as he berated. How can you be so shameless? However, Wang Kai did not pay any attention to him. Yes, master, I, old pig, will do it now. No, I promise you. This old man promises you. Suddenly, when Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing came over, Wu Junyun was unable to restrain himself and chose to compromise. As an expert of Sky Martial Divine Palace and a Celestial Source Realm expert, he could not afford to lose face. Although it was shameful to be the guard of a younger generation, it was better than being stripped naked and hung up. Wouldn't it have been better if you did this earlier? Why bother? Wang Kai squinted his eyes when he heard Wu Junyun's words. A playful smile appeared on his face. Looking at Wang Kai's smile, Wu Junyun's body trembled uncontrollably. Of all people, why did he have to meet such a little devil? Let's go. We'll fight our way to the Tongtian domain. Buzz. As Wang Kai floated into Buzhou Sky Palace, Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing followed closely behind him. Wu Junyun gritted his teeth when he saw this. His eyes turned red, but in the end, he could only sigh helplessly and enter Buzhou Sky Palace. Tongtian domain. Unlike the other realms, the realm of Heaven Span had always been unified. Without the permission of the Heaven-reaching Church, there would never be any private conflicts. However, as Buzhou Sky Palace flew into Tongtian domain, martial artists and forces everywhere started fighting. It would not be an exaggeration to say that blood flowed like rivers. Huaner, didn't you just say that Tongtian domain was peaceful? Could it be that in your eyes, this is peace? Isn't that too shocking? Wang Kai rubbed his nose and said speechlessly, I'm talking about the past. Ever since Sky-reaching Church fell to the bottom of the 3,000 forces, Tongtian domain has been in chaos. If it weren't for Empyrean Palace, Underworld Palace, and Sky Martial Divine Palace, there would be countless casualties by now. Mu Sanyang glared and said, unhappily, this little girl must be the concubine of the 6th domain master, Mu Sanyang, right? You're right. That's exactly what the realm of Heaven Span is now. However, things have changed in recent days. Wu Junyun said in a deep voice after glancing at Mu Sanyang in surprise. Changed? What do you mean? Wang Kai asked curiously. Take a look and you'll know. Wu Junyun said as he pointed below. Swoosh. Upon hearing this, Wang Kai and the others followed his finger and looked down. Below them, there was no longer chaos and fighting everywhere. Instead, it had become a peaceful scene. People would smile and greet each other when they met. F*CK. Could it be that what I just saw was an illusion? Wang Kai was instantly stunned when he saw this scene, and he grinned while feeling extremely speechless in his heart. It's not an illusion. The Sky-reaching Church has returned. Moreover, they've reoccupied the Sky-reaching domain. They've started from a Sky-reaching mountain gate in the center. They've begun to suppress the chaos and unify the entire domain. Although he sounded indifferent, Wang Kai could hear a hint of mockery in his tone. It seemed that Sky Marshal Divine Palace, where Wu Junyun was from, did not have a good relationship with Sky Reaching Church. If that's the case, the Sky Reaching Church is probably the one who destroyed Windflower City. Wang Kai frowned and said helplessly, "It must be because of Xia Xinyan." Because at that time, Xia Xinyan was imprisoned in the romantic floor. Now that they heard that Sky Reaching Church had returned recently, it proved everything. Sky Reaching Church. Just as Wang Kai expected, Mu Sanyang turned into a bone-chilling avenger. Her cold eyes seemed to be able to make people fall into an abyss. Windflower City was destroyed? Or Sky Reaching Church? That's impossible. No matter how whimsical the Sky Reaching Church is, it's impossible for them to go to the 6th region and cause trouble. If those old guys were so impulsive, they would have been removed from the ranking of the 3,000 forces. Wu Junyun waved his hand in disbelief. If it's not Sky Reaching Church, who else could it be? Don't forget that Sky Reaching Church was in the 6th domain at that time. However, their mountain gate flew away recently. He can testify that he followed the mountain gate of Sky Reaching Church all the way to Windflower City. Mu Sanyang pointed at Zhu Beiji and said sternly, Chapter 743. Master Mu, why do you have to be so serious with me? This old man was just making a suggestion. You can go to the Transcending Heaven Immortal cult and ask for an explanation if you have any solid evidence in your cultivation base. Wu Junyun waved his hand and said with a laugh, Whoosh. As soon as he said this, Mu Sanyang's gaze shifted to Wang Kai. Her eyes were cold, but there was a hint of anticipation in them as she stared at Wang Kai. Mu Sanyang didn't need to think to know what she was thinking. Huaner, every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. If the Transcending Heaven Church really destroyed the romantic floor and snatched your sister, then we can't let any of the culprits off. Wang Kai shrugged his shoulders. His expression was rather indifferent as he said with a smile, What about those who didn't do anything? Mu Sanyang asked, gritting her teeth. Those who didn't do anything, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. He didn't expect Mu Sanyang to be so murderous. Judging from her tone, it seemed like she wanted to annihilate the entire Sky Reaching school. There's a friend of Ben Shao in the Sky Reaching Church. Since Ben Shao started cultivating, he has been accompanying Ben Shao until now. So I know. As long as we can take Wanwan back and kill those who should be killed. Mu Sanyang waved her hand and said coldly. That being said, everyone could tell that Mu Sanyang didn't think that way. After all, in Windflower City and the Romantic Floor, regardless of whether they were related or not a single person had survived. Even so, Wang Kai wouldn't help her destroy the Sky Reaching Church. Lord Cat was there, and it was enough for him to protect the Sky Reaching Church. Young friend, you don't want to go to the Sky Reaching Church to ask for an explanation, do you? If that's the case, I'll say it first. I really can't do anything. Wu Junyun shook his head and said firmly. Whoosh. Hearing this, Wang Kai twisted his eyebrows. He turned around, looked at Ben Shao contemptuously, and said indifferently, Don't forget that you're my guard. Moreover, you don't need to provoke Ben Shao. Just go to the Sky Reaching School. Ben Shao knows better than you about the realm of the powerhouses there. Just pretend I didn't say anything. Wu Junyun waved his hand and sighed in disappointment. He had originally thought that if Wang Kai fought his way to the Sky Reaching School, he would not be a match for the Sky Reaching School with his celestial source cultivation. Even the Star Guards and Star Generals couldn't do anything to the Sky Reaching School. Unless a Star Lord showed up, there was nothing to talk about. However, it was a pity that Wang Kai didn't buy it. It was obvious that he wouldn't rashly attack the Transcending Heaven Church. Master, this old man is very naughty. Let him take the lead and play to his heart's content in the Sky Reaching School. Zhu Beiji suddenly grinned and said with a smile. Sha Wujing also nodded in agreement, looking at Wu Junyun with a mocking gaze. You're delusional. Wu Junyun immediately panicked. If he was really forced to go to the sky-reaching school to cause trouble, he would definitely be beaten black and blue. In fact, he might even lose his life there. Delusional? What do you mean? Ben Xiao is letting you go. What can you do? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a cold smile. Whoosh! Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing surrounded Wu Junyun from both sides. It was obvious that they were ready to attack at any time. It's all right. I just feel that there's something I need to tell you. In less than 2 days, the Sky Reaching School will definitely unify the Sky Reaching School. At that time, there will be a banquet. The powerhouses of the 6 regions and 3,000 forces will all be present. Wu Junyun said, gritting his teeth. Unifying the Sky Reaching School and holding a banquet? Is it just to celebrate? Presumably, the main reason is that the Sky Reaching School wants to take revenge. Those who had suppressed the Sky Reaching School will not have a good ending. After that, what's in it for Ben Xiao? If they really gathered together, then wouldn't this young master have to face even more enemies? Old man, do you still want to frame Ben Xiao? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and said with a rather unfriendly expression, No, no, no. Those forces have already found the netherworld underworld and tried to make peace with the Empyrean Palace. However, I'm afraid that the Sky Reaching School won't succeed. Wu Junyun quickly waved his hand and explained. The Empyrean Palace, the netherworld underworld, the current number 1 and number 2 forces. When the Sky Reaching School comes back, I wonder what their ranking will be. If the negotiation fails, will the Transcending Heaven Church fight with the 9 Heavens Imperial Palace and the Yellow Spring Underworld? Wang Kai raised his eyebrows and asked curiously. Of course, but the scale of the battle will be very small. After all, the overall strength of the Sky Reaching Church is very strong, not much weaker than the 9th Heaven Palace, and much stronger than the Yellow Spring Underworld. Therefore, the battle will only be between experts above the Celestial Source Realm. Wu Junyun said, Is the Sky Reaching Church's overall strength very strong? Wang Kai's mouth twitched. He really couldn't tell how he was strong. Could it be that a lot of experts have suddenly appeared in the Sky Reaching Church this time? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes as he thought inwardly. At the same time, he naturally understood Wu Junyun's agreement. As long as the Celestial Origin Realm experts of the Sky Reaching Cult and the 9 Heavens Palace and the Yellow Spring Underworld Palace fought, it would be the best time. All the Celestial Source Realm experts were busy fighting. Who would have the time to care about him? When the time comes, as long as you follow the Sky Martial Divine Palace team to the Sky Reaching Church, you can leave when the battle starts. This old man will take care of this matter, Wu Junyun said confidently. Ha, you old man. After all, you just want to use this opportunity to return to the Sky Martial Divine Palace. If I really let you go back, wouldn't Ben Xiao be dead? Wang Kai narrowed his eyes and sneered disdainfully. With the current cultivation of Wang Kai, Zhu Beiji, and Sha Wujing, they really couldn't defeat the 9th Heaven Palace, the Yellow Spring Underworld Palace, and the Sky Martial Divine Palace. The Sky Reaching Church would definitely not be a match for them. Since that was the case, they had to be careful. One wrong step and they would lose everything. But there's no other way. Of course, if you have the strength to blend in with the 3,000 forces, everything will be fine. However, you have to be careful. If you want to enter the Sky Reaching Church, you will have to go through an inspection. Every force has its own uniqueness. Little friend, do you think you can blend in perfectly? As soon as Wu Junyun finished speaking, Wang Kai's brows furrowed. Indeed, every force had their unique points. For example, the Sky Reaching Church had an identity token that could be used to send messages and verify one's essence blood. Once they were thoroughly inspected, there was no way they could escape. This is simple. As long as Old Pig uses the 36 transformations, want to be fine? Old Shot can do it too, Zhu Beiji said casually as he waved his 9-toothed rake. Hearing this, Wang Kai narrowed his eyes slightly. Just as he was about to finish speaking, Wu Junyun waved his hand and interrupted him. No, any transformations won't be able to escape the inspection of the Sky Reaching Church, Wu Junyun said firmly. Chapter 744. No, my ass. Is my 36 transformations something a puny first-grade astral origin like you can understand? Am I right, old Shah? Zhu Beiji snorted proudly. That's right. If you want to see through the 36 transformations, your cultivation must be higher than ours, or you must have a special sky eye, Monk Shah said seriously. Higher cultivation than Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing? The corners of Wang Kai's mouth twitched slightly at these words, while Wu Junyan shook his head and sighed with a smile. There were many people with higher cultivation than Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing in the sky-reaching church. Moreover, there were many people with special abilities such as the Sky Eye. Transformations can't be used, Wang Kai said, shaking his head. If transformations were useful, he would not have been forced to show up by the Great Elder in the sky-reaching church. Even if he could change his appearance, he would still need an identity token to prove his identity. Wang Kai believed that his existence was not allowed by the sky-reaching church. If he entered rashly and took out his identity token, he might get into trouble. Looks like I can only use the system's ability to change my appearance to that of a disciple of another force. At the same time, I have to take his identity token and other items to prove my identity. As for the essence blood, Wang Kai frowned as he pondered in his heart. This method was feasible, but there was still a shortcoming. No matter what item to prove one's identity, it must contain the essence blood. What if he cannot take it out when the time came? Damn it, I don't care. I'll just summon Sun Wukong. He's in the 4-star realm or even the 5th-star realm. He's already invincible in the Tianzhou region. Wang Kai narrowed his eyes. Hey, Master, stop the Buzhou Heavenly Palace. Yeah, if we go any further, we'll reach the center of the sky-reaching church. Young friend, you can't do that. If the people of the sky-reaching church find out that I'm with you, there will be trouble. Young Master Kai, stop the Buzhou Sky Palace. As Mu Sanyang and the others made a ruckus, Wang Kai snapped out of his daze. He looked around and found that they were already at the center of the realm of Tongtian. Furthermore, many experts in the surroundings had already noticed the presence of the Buzhou Celestial Palace. Wait in Buzhou Heavenly Palace for now. Wang. As his voice faded, Wang Kai's figure flew out. He shrunk the Buzhou Sky Palace and kept it in the system. Swoosh, swoosh. At the same time, many experts were hurriedly flying over from all directions. Their auras were all ridiculously strong. The weakest was at the celestial deity realm. Among them, there were dozens of heavenly Dao realm experts. Damn it, as expected of the central area of the strongest territory. The experts that exist here are more powerful than the last. Wang Kai cursed in his heart. Boy, hand over that flying-type magical treasure. Wang. As a cold voice sounded, a middle-aged man in a white robe with white hair and eyebrows appeared in front of Wang Kai. Similarly, as soon as the middle-aged man's voice faded, the other experts also arrived. Hand over the flying magical treasure. We'll spare your life. That's right. If you don't want to die, hand it over quickly. In an instant, thousands of experts gathered in the sky, blocking Wang Kai's escape route. Moreover, the dozens of experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Dao were at the forefront of all the experts, ready to strike at any moment. However, what surprised Wang Kai the most was the white-haired middle-aged man who was the first to arrive. He was standing right in front of him, much higher than the experts at the peak of the 9th grade Heavenly Dao. Wang Kai squinted his eyes, glanced at the white-haired middle-aged man, and sneered coldly. Hee, a group of heavenly Dao realm weaklings dare to rob Ben Shao. You must be tired of living. At the same time, there were still many experts looking up from below. The number was simply incalculable. The reason why those experts did not charge forward was definitely because the weakest among them was at the heavenly God realm. Even if they came, they would not gain anything and might even lose their lives. Humph, where did this brat come from? His tone is quite, all of you shut up. Suddenly, just as those experts opened their mouths to berate him, the white-haired middle-aged man spoke in an indifferent manner. His white pupils swept across the surroundings. Everywhere they passed, Everyone involuntarily took a few steps back. Even the experts at the peak of the ninth grade heavenly Tao had fear in their eyes. By Jiuyo, even if your combat strength surpasses ours, don't forget that this is the Tongtian domain, not the Tianwu divine region. That's right. Now that the experts of the Tongtian sect have returned from the extraterritorial area, what right do you have to stay in the Tongtian domain? Get out of here. Ah. Bang. Rumble. However, before those experts could finish speaking, Bai Jiuyo waved his hand, and their bodies were smashed into pieces. They turned into a rain of blood and flew down from the sky. With one blow, more than a dozen experts at the peak of the ninth grade heavenly Tao were killed on the spot. Such a move caused the other experts' expressions to change. All of them swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and their hearts were filled with fear. Not bad, not bad. Although your cultivation is only at the peak of the ninth grade heavenly Tao, which is a little low, your heavenly energy is at the ninth grade. Moreover, your combat strength has surpassed the strength of a ninth grade heavenly energy. Wang Kai praised with his hands behind his back. Whoosh! Hearing this, everyone's eyelids twitched, and they stared at Wang Kai with disdain. It was not the turn of a young boy to comment, right? Give me your flying magic treasure, and I can guarantee that you will be unimpeded in the Tongtian domain. Bai Jiuyo said indifferently. A mere ninth grade heavenly Tao, even if his combat strength was much higher, he still had the guts to rob. It seemed that he had been underestimated. Alas, I have to say, it's a sad thing that others can't see through my realm. It's completely based on my age to judge the strength of my cultivation. How sad. Wang Kai shook his head and sighed silently in his heart. Why? However, just as Wang Kai was about to tease him, Bai Jiuyo's voice resounded in Wang Kai's mind. He used secret voice sending instead of speaking directly to his face. Senior Wu Junyan, I don't know what your relationship is in your flying magic treasure, but if you agree, I can take you out of here. At that time, you can let Senior Wu out. If we are friends and not enemies, I will not hurt you. It turned out that he was looking for Wu Junyan. Wang Kai suddenly understood. No wonder those people said that he was from the Sky Martial Divine region. In this case, he really came from the same region as Wu Junyan. Chapter 745. In that case, Su Mo could not agree to his request. If Su Mo agreed to let Wu Junyan out, they would become enemies. After all, no matter how much Wu Junyan feared Su Mo, he could not hide the fact that he had been coerced. Since there was going to be a fight, why drag it out? How dare you threaten Ben Shao secretly with a voice transmission? You're just a little trash at the ninth grade of the heavenly path. Besides, do you think you can pose a threat to Ben Shao? Wang Kai sneered disdainfully with his hands clasped behind his back. Whoosh! Everyone was shocked by Su Mo's words. They could not believe that a young man in his 20s could be so audacious. Bai Jiuyo, since he doesn't appreciate your kindness, why don't you step back? Yes, do you want the Sky-reaching church to make you leave the Tongtian realm? It's not the time for the Sky-reaching church to hold a banquet. You're leaving too early. In an instant, many experts asked Su Mo to leave. Since Bai Jiuyo was here, no one dared to do anything to Wang Kai. Haha, I'd like to see what you've got. Bai Jiuyo ignored those experts and continued to transmit his voice secretly. He smiled indifferently and stepped out of the encirclement of the experts. Seeing that, the experts heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, they despised Bai Jiuyo. No matter how powerful Bai Jiuyo was, he was afraid of the Sky-reaching church. As long as the Sky-reaching church was there, no one in the Tongtian realm would dare to offend them. In fact, this was the case when the Sky-reaching church was there. Even though the Empyrean Palace was ranked higher than the Sky-reaching church, they did not dare to offend the Sky-reaching church easily. Boy, hand over your flying Dharma treasure. It's too late. You'll lose your life. Hearing the condemnation of the many experts, Wang Kai couldn't help but rub his chin. With a playful smile, he said, Who do you think you are? Get lost. Bastard. Since you don't know what's good for you at such a young age, don't blame us for being ruthless. Kill. Cut the crap. Wong. However, before those experts could make a move, Wong Kai made the first move. He took out his folding fan, and with a wave of his hand, waves of terrifying blue airflow swept out. This. Heavens! Who exactly is he? Rumble, rumble. In an instant, under the assault of the blue starry sky energy, many experts were sent flying in all directions. Regardless of whether they were celestial gods or heavenly Tao realm experts, they did not even have the strength to resist. With one strike, thousands of experts were severely injured and fell from the sky. At this moment, the originally crowded void appeared extremely spacious. Other than Wong Kai and Bai Juyo in the distance, there was no one else. This scene caused the countless experts below to tremble with fear. There were even some who did not dare to continue watching as they fled with their tails between their legs. Who would dare to seize a flying-type magic treasure owned by such a young expert with a monstrous cultivation base? Wouldn't they be risking their lives? Ben Xiao said just now that you are just a bunch of trash. How dare you rob Ben Xiao? You should feel lucky. Ben Xiao is a merciful person. Under normal circumstances, he will not kill. Wong Kai shrugged his shoulders and smiled indifferently. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. A merciful person? Hearing such words, Bai Juyo's pupils constricted slightly. No matter how one looked at it, Wong Kai was definitely not a soft-hearted person. It was surprising that he could say such words. Starry sky energy. Judging from the power of your stellar source, it should be grade 2 stellar source, Bai Juyo said indifferently. Even though Wong Kai had defeated so many powerhouses in one move, it did not make him feel too emotional. At most, he was a little surprised. He had thought that Wong Kai was just a young lad, but now it seemed that he was not. Oh, you are right. However, Ben Xiao is really strange. Your realm is only grade 9 heavenly path. Even though you have grade 9 heavenly energy, you can't see through Ben Xiao's cultivation. Are you hiding your cultivation? Wong Kai narrowed his eyes and smiled playfully. In his heart, he was shocked that he could not see through his realm. In this way, it also proved that his real realm should be above his. The realm he showed was only grade 9 heavenly path, but his real realm was unfathomable. Let Senior Wu out, Bai Juyo said indifferently. What realm is he in? In desperation, Wong Kai could only secretly urge his mind to communicate with the system. He could not see through it because his realm was not high enough. However, the system could definitely see through it. Host, this person's realm is extremely high. He is in the second realm, grade 3 Star Guard. The second realm, the Star Guard realm. He was actually in the same realm as Zhu Beiji and Sha Wujing. You're third grade Star Guard, yet you actually call Wu Junian Senior. This is truly surprising. Wong Kai narrowed his eyes as he spoke with a mocking smile. Whoosh! As soon as these words were spoken, Bai Juyo's face suddenly changed, and his expression became gloomy. He had never thought that this spear-headed brat would actually be able to see through his true realm. Could it be that he also hid his real realm? Was the grade 2 Star Source realm just a facade? Who are you? Why did you imprison Senior Wu? Bai Juyo said coldly, and his expression became alert. After Wong Kai revealed his real realm, Bai Juyo repeatedly peeped at Wong Kai's realm, but all he got was a blank. He could not see through it at all. This also proved that Wong Kai's realm was either higher than his, or he had a supreme treasure to protect himself and hide his real realm. Ben Xiao's name is Wong Kai, and he is the sect leader of the sky-stabbing sect. His sect is located in the depths of the extraterritorial starry sky. Oh, you may not know that the star area where the Ben Xiao sect is located is called the Death Star area. Wong Kai shrugged and said with an unfathomable smile, Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1,000,000 experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Death Star area. You You are actually from that area? All of a sudden, Bai Jiuyo's eyes were filled with terror and shock. Wang Kai was stunned when he saw the fearful look on his face. F***CK. What the hell? The Death Star region that he had casually made up actually existed? And, judging from Bai Jiuyo's expression, the Death Star area seems to be very powerful? What do you mean by Bin Xiao is from that area? Think carefully before you speak, okay? Bin Xiao is the dominator of that area. Do you understand? Wang Kai curled his lips and sneered with disdain. Congratulations to the host for bragging successfully. You have gained 1 million experience points and 1,000 bragging points. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and reaching grade 3 Star Source Realm. Congratulations to the host for breaking through and gaining 10 Star Source points. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.